like, yeah, how about you? Shut the fuck up. He's why I say, if it was the first man, they'll be like, no, we didn't elect you. Shut the fuck up. You had your time to
about
speak.
Tom Brady's
What did
wife.
I tell you about the first 30 seconds?
You didn't say
man?
you was recording, Joel.
I thought you watched me click streaming.
Oh, my bad.
What's the first 30 seconds?
Don't say the F word.
Yeah.
First 30 seconds.
First 30 seconds?
It's something like that, where like the first 2 minutes of it, it scans for harder than.
This is how to watch television.
We'll see if we get it on this one still, then we know that's nonsense.
Man, we got 3 people waiting on us already. Jesus. See, told you.
No, those 3 people need to tell 3 people apiece.
As the great poet Osolo once said, 2 ninjas go get 4 ninjas, 4 ninjas go get more.
Why are we talking about ninjas?
I'm paraphrasing. You can't talk about ninjas. Like, yeah.
Did I show you this thing, or did I tell you about this thing?
Just like we all touch shit before. No, I've never shit in a tissue before. You touch shit
What?
every single
Just watch
day.
it.
Like you wipe yourself, you got shit in the tissue when you wipe yourself. You don't know how to get it. Why are you touching the shit? The tissue is for the shit. That's what I'm saying. You grab shit. No, you're not saying that. You don't. Yeah, you wipe. And you grab the
Want to get a copyright? I didn't want to get a copyright hit for that stupid video. You know, the audio matching up in it.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Dude,
isn't that ridiculous?
But then like not like an idiot. Like I was like, all right, well, let's talk about this. Because
This is the
I'm
pre-show.
not trying to.
everyone.
I'm not
Welcome.
trying to say it's okay in any way. You look really disturbed.
A guy
Because
tried to
he
poop.
too old for that, bro.
That's what I'm saying. So,
But
first of all, first things first. Bathroom habits in general. How often do you have that discussion with anybody else?
other than your kids, how often do you like talk to a friend of yours about like, oh man, when I went to the bathroom today, this and that?
Like detailed conversation.
I don't think I've ever had a detailed conversation with
right.
anybody.
Exactly my
what I do
point.
in a restaurant.
Okay, so if he, however, if he was self-taught or maybe one of his parents showed him how to do it that way, and that's just all he ever knew, and he never had that conversation he was having right there, unfortunately, on a YouTube video.
Why
he was
would
never taught that.
why
And I'm
would
not
it
trying
ever
to
come
make
up?
an excuse for it because
Bro,
somewhere
he's
along the way you'd be like,
he's
now
goddamn-
why am I putting this in my hand every time? It just doesn't.
But I like the idea that you're justifying that it happened, like that what he's saying is at least true.
It's genuine.
The way he
I don't
reacted.
think
like,
he was faking.
I don't think he was
I
faking
wouldn't
at all.
say something like that in public.
That
Right.
I wouldn't.
But the
no,
conviction
but
was
you can
like,
see the like the genuineness
I'll put
when
a
he's
link-
like
I'll put a
no,
link to
like
this
no,
in the-
with a tissue, like he's saying like with a tissue.
Joe, put a
It's-
link to the video.
It's bad, dude.
in the chat.
It's
not in the
crazy.
chat. Put it.
I can put it in the chat.
Yeah, throw it in the chat.
It's crazy that happened to that person,
Holy.
and like I'm saying, but it's like one of those things. Like if
you don't know what people are doing behind closed door, and if it's something that
No,
people
and
don't
why would
generally-
you?
Right, and if it's something that people don't generally discuss, then yeah, I could see somebody having an impression that everybody does it the way they do it.
and that's totally where I
Right.
think he's coming from. He's looking at everybody like, wait, nobody in here does it like that, and everybody's like, no, man, and they look at him with this
But my
horrid.
whole thing is, I feel like
He was absolutely horrified.
I feel like you would. See, like I'm from the era of like we had potty training and stuff like that. Like I feel like at some point,
But my point being is that it stems back. It's not just.
he from
It's
another
not
planet,
just,
bro.
What?
He's not from here. He didn't know how the human body worked.
I'm just saying, like, so, like, if his mom,
For whatever
whoever
reason.
was taught that way, or dad, or whoever, potty trained him when he was a kid, when he was a little baby, and taught him how to do it that way.
Or maybe they
And that's
caught
just
it for
okay,
him.
Then you just go on as a human being. You're just like, okay, well, that's just the way everybody does it. My mom showed me how to do it this way, so how could it be wrong?
We have now earned an intro for when the cameras come on. I have something to say to the camera.
That is
This can't be. This isn't going to be relevant. It won't be in the audio version anyway. Like it'll be on here.
No, don't worry about it. I just
Okay.
have to say it to the
very
camera.
strange.
It has to be
And
said.
It's a very strange, and like it was funny at first, but then you're like,
Well, but
wait a
then you
minute,
think
now,
about it. Like we all have our proclivities. You know what I mean? Like in the bathroom, like I stand and blah blah blah. But like so other people were like, "What the? You stand? I sit." And
Who the hell
it's like, what?
ordering groceries?
Who's ordering groceries?
My Instacart just popped up. Somebody is shopping right now.
So I just thought
I
that,
don't
like, I
remember
just thought it's,
ordering
like, it's
anything.
at least an interesting conversation about that kind of thing happening to you.
No,
Like you're
man.
growing up. Like if I were to, like, you know what I'm saying, like just tell you about like how I was showed or whatever.
Like
I
if your
learned this.
parents told you take your socks off when you go to the toilet. Like, and you just did that forever, and it was just natural, and nobody ever corrected
There's a
you on
very
it.
less gross example.
Yeah.
That's perfect. If that's, and you're just like, and 30 years later, I'm 40 years old, and we're sitting here having a conversation. I'm like, wait a minute, you don't take your socks off when you go to the bathroom?
No,
Like,
why
you're
would I
like,
take my socks off
what-
when I go to the
Exactly.
bathroom?
Well, that's the way I've always done that. You know, it's just such
Who
a
taught you
strange
this?
thing.
Yes.
You're right. You know, it's just strange.
We had
thing to
this
think about.
conversation about peanut butter and jelly.
You can see in his right.
Where did you learn this,
How
Jeremy?
do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Step by
No-
step.
Yeah, no help. Just what do you think? What's the proper way to make a peanut butter and jelly
The way
sandwich?
to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is take a butter knife, take peanut butter and put it on a bread, and then take jelly with a spoon and put it on another piece of bread and put them together.
That's the argument we've always had.
Thank you.
My wife saw me making a peanut butter and jelly.
Mm-hmm.
I took the piece of bread. I put the peanut butter on the bread. I took the knife and I put the jelly on the same piece of
You
bread.
didn't clean the knife before you put it in the jelly?
Well, yeah, I can always clean the knife with a paper towel. Sorry, I left that step
Okay,
out.
at
Clean the
least
knife with
you-
the paper towel. Put the jelly on the same piece of bread and spread it on the peanut
Over the
butter,
peanut
and then put
butter.
the Why is that so strange? You
Thank
put them
you.
together any fucking way. What does it matter?
I just
And see, this is how, and so, like, and it kind of led to
He
this
catches
discussion
his
anyway,
poop.
because my wife,
Hey, Jeremy catches
Jeremy
his food.
catches
Hey,
his
look, at the end of the day, he been pushing this
I had
conversation.
to come in for this one.
He's
That's
pushing the
ridiculous.
conversation forward because he
I didn't even, like,
he
I walked
catches
right
his
into it
own
and I didn't even
poop,
see
and
it
the
happen.
man is sitting here trying to justify
I walked
with a
right
peanut
into
butter and jelly parable.
Catches his own poop.
So no, and then so my wife asked
And he go,
my mom
Keep going,
how
man.
she made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich,
Right.
and my mom did it the same exact way I did. She goes, "Well, that's the problem.
We
Your
found
mom
the
taught
source
you how
of
to
the
do
issue.
this."
So we started making fun of Pam
It's been this
instead of
conversation
Jeremy.
that's been going on for what?
2 or
there's,
3 years.
there's a joke. Oh, it's not a
No,
joke.
we're going
it's-
back pre-show. No, go ahead. Say
No,
it.
there's
We're
this
going back to pre-show. We're going back to the break.
You'll turn the cameras back off when I start talking.
Oh,
It
go ahead,
it
Bryce.
feels
That's all you. Go
super
ahead.
racist. Listen,
Why is this turned so much?
I don't know. And it look a little blurry. Was that an iPhone?
That's because it's moving.
Oh, okay, cool. But listen, there's this old parable that people talk about.
It sounds terrible.
Shut up, Joe. So they say this lady is cooking, and the daughter asks her, why does she cut the end off of the roast before she puts it in the pot? And she said, because my mom did it that way. And then she asked her mom, the grandmother, she said, I did like that because my mom did it that way. And then the grandmother said, my mom did it that way. Then you go all the way back and find out that the great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother, she didn't have a pot big enough to put the roast in. So she would cut it and take a chunk off. And then everybody else just followed that step unnecessarily, but they just did it blindly following tradition. So I could see people picking up.
Shit with a
Picking up-
towel.
So if
I knew that was coming. I wasn't going to be the one. I knew it was coming.
To be fair though, there is a shit picking up thing that's a part of that parable. And this, people right now, we care about the earth. We supposed to care about the earth, right? We not supposed to put plastics and shit like that outside. But yeah, y'all white. I know y'all don't care. Hey, look, y'all white. I already know y'all don't care about
Just
the
kidding.
earth. But listen, you're
Let's
not
go back to
supposed to
you two.
put plastic and shit. You're not supposed to put plastic and shit, in the ground. Consciously, I think we all kind of know that, even if you don't agree with it or not.
You mean like you just don't throw
But
your-
you just
You don't litter.
litter, and you're not supposed to put this in a dump. These things are supposed to be recycled, or until we find
I've
someone.
listened to enough Parks and Recollection to intervene here and say only 9% of things that you throw away actually make it to being
I mean, dude,
recycled.
Right.
like, if
But
you
my
watch the
point
John
was,
Oliver special
but my
on
point
recycling,
was,
like,
societally wise, we all follow the tradition of walking the dog. The dog shits biodegradable poop on the ground, and we pick it up like fucking idiots. We literally pick up.
It's because we do it in other people.
No matter
That's
why we
courtesy.
do it. It's stupid though. It's my point. We do
Walk
it because
your dog at home. Let it poop there.
dogs
I
poop.
never pick up the dog shit.
Listen to me, because you got sense. Dogs poop. People pick up poop that's biodegradable in plastic bags.
Uh huh.
If you don't
And in
understand
Parks and
why
Rec,
that's
they have fights
insane,
where they throw it at each other, and they use like shields.
but if you don't understand why that's insane, I can't really help you. And to be fair, I know people not gonna get it.
Should I use like paper bags or?
You shouldn't pick up poop. It's fucking poop. Leave it in
But
the
like
ground.
dismissing the aspect of like if I walked my dog past your yard and it shits in your front yard somewhere that you step, and like the next morning you come
My
out to
yard,
use the
I wouldn't
bathroom,
care.
huh?
My yard, I wouldn't care.
No, but you walk in it the next morning on your way to the car, and now you got shit on your thing on your
That's
foot.
part of life. You gonna
Might
take?
catch his poop.
Yeah.
Wow, I catch my poop because I would let a dog poop. Wow,
Welcome,
you guys have.
welcome
He
to
trying to pass that buck real bad. You
I did, I
Jeremy,
have
you the
to, I
poop
have to.
catcher.
No-
you,
I tried to catch it.
No dice,
you
Philo,
are wearing
Philo.
that. You are wearing that. You are the poop catcher.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, so let's talk about TV shows because it's
It's
Satan's
fine.
and it's hot.
It's
in here.
not that hot.
Yeah, it's fucking.
This is really hot, man.
Let's see.
I can't afford air conditioning for my business. Sorry.
We're gonna get air conditioning. We're gonna fix this problem, but right now it's kind of warm. That's all. We're not gonna complain though.
No, we're not going to complain. We'd be put in the break room if we complained.
This is how to watch TV.
Live from the hottest place on earth, 9 Mile Studios. My name is Joel Henderson.
Right.
With me as always.
Right. I am Jeremy Besides.
It's Dre Brown. What's going on?
We are brought to you by our producer, Comeuppance Network. Yeah, and check out all of our,
Our
past, present,
previous
and
yeah.
future stuff at our awesome website.
HowToWatchTV.
God website,
website.
baby.
Yes, you have to type the whole word website.
Yep.
That
Or you
website.
can just type it once, save the link.
Hey, what's the
bookmark.
HowToWatchTV website? HowToWatchTV.website. You said most of it.
Right.
Yeah, you got it. Somebody just ordered 3 things.
Are we still on the Instacart thing?
Yeah, somebody ordered Parmesan.
If you didn't watch
heavy
the
whipping
pre-show on
cream,
YouTube.
and-
Have you ever tried Adderall
What the hell is that?
or like
I don't do
Ritalin?
drugs. Drugs are bad.
Okay.
Drugs are bad, okay? Okay, children. No.
So
I don't-
anybody watch anything else besides Severance this week?
Yeah, I got another show I watched last night. It's called, I want to say, The Wilds. It's on Amazon Prime. It starts off like Lost. It's a whole bunch of like teenage girls on an airplane that crashes into the ocean, and then they all like wash up on an island, and then the mysteries
Into
and
the
stuff.
most
start.
annoying plane crash ever.
I get the joke. I like that. I can't laugh right now because it would generate too much heat. But no.
Right. And you made me think about it when I laughed. I was like, oh,
Right.
Yeah, it's just
you
expelling.
feel it. You feel it. But no. But no. The Hills. I think it's called the Wilds on Amazon Prime. That's not bad looking. I've only gotten through 1 episode, but so far it looked like it's gonna be a decent little mystery type show. There.
So is it cast mostly teenagers then?
Oh, well, right now you have what I'm assuming are 2 federal agents questioning one of the young ladies. I guess she's the main character, and they're asking how did they get on the island? What do they remember? None of them remember.
So we're dealing with the
Shit.
thing with like doing like flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's that. And then I was watching The Outer Wilds on
No.
Outer Range.
Outer Range.
Outer Range with
So Dre
Josh
sent
Brolin.
us this, or he sent us this suggestion, and as soon as we reminded him he's still on a 3-month suspension after Big Bug, we went and watched the trailer for it anyway. And Jeremy and I, within seconds, we both kind of looked at each other like before the whole thing.
Honestly,
Before
like,
the
2
whole thing,
seconds
we're
into
like,
it. I saw like 4 cowboy hats. In
yeah,
2 seconds, and I was like,
and a
I
bunch
don't-
of horses, and I'm
Now
just
listen,
like,
I'm
I
gonna-
don't want all the horsey drama that surrounds.
I saw.
There's
horses
no
on the show,
horsey
like,
drama?
twice. No,
Okay,
ain't got
good.
Nothing to do with no damn horses. But it's got
I
to
mean,
do
I
with
thought
land.
something. We need that land.
No, it's you have to watch the show. But no, I'll say this about this.
Yeah.
We're
'Cause
gonna
it was like after we watched the trailer, he's like, I don't want to hate it. And I was like, you know what? The trailer turned out better than I thought it would be, but it was just like the setting, which you've even said before, going back to like the
when it's a
discussion like
setting that you
Arcane
don't
was a
like,
setting. Like
it's
it's just
hard to
that
get
that
past
whole
it
like
sometimes.
with like I just don't like cowboy hats are like dumb.
I'm just waiting for them to get to the hole. That's it. The whole time. I just
literally from the first episode.
Okay, but like that's the only thing I'm interested in. So like any of the town drama or
No.
farm
It's
drama,
all-
I'm
it's,
just
it's
like
not a farm show. It's literally
good.
a sci-fi show.
Okay.
Right,
Just
Well,
takes
that's
place
That's
on-
what. That's what.
It's
kinda
that's
like
what-
the way I
And to
just-
before we watch the trailer, to be fair, he was like, so before we watched the trailer, I kind of just scrolled through the episodes, just looking at the thumbnails, and dude, like honestly, it looks like Reacher.
No, it's
You know what I mean? Like,
all right, but no, the show is more like Fringe so far.
It was definitely looked better than like I probably would never have given it a second look had you not like said, hey, check this out. But yeah, no. So the whole, we're fucking with you.
All right, listen, I want
Big Bug
to
thing.
give I'm gonna speak on that Big Bug thing, but real quick, I want to give a shout out to Jay Wackers for taking a shot at watching The Wire this weekend. She said she got through one episode, so she know about Snot Boogie, and she's met Wallace.
you know about Snot Boogie.
She know about Snot Boogie, and she met Wallace, so that's what's up. I guarantee you, I can give you a personal guarantee. If you get through episode 3, Joel said it took him 5.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if you get through episode 3, you're not gonna stop watching that show. And if you finish the entire series, or once you finish it, it's one of those shows you're gonna want to go back and watch at least one more time. I personally watched it about 4 or 5 times now, but no, it's really good. But as far as the Big Bug thing, let me make a comment on that.
Give you the screen here.
Listen, every show I've ever recommended on this podcast has been a show I've watched. I recommended Big Bug because of an interesting looking trailer. It was interesting to me at the time.
I don't know what you.
Yeah, I mean the fact that he's doubling down on this and
trailer-
No, I'm not doubling down on it. I'm literally not saying it's a good
sounds
show
like an
or we
admission
should
of
watch
no.
it. What
No.
I'm saying is I made a recommendation based on the trailer,
And we watched the
and
same
it was
trailer.
terrible. Yeah, but you know what? What I find interesting might not be interesting to you, Jeremy. I
So
could go in
you're
the
saying you
bathroom.
found that
I could go in the
interesting.
bathroom and have both of my hands on my phone while I'm pooping and wash my hands. You have to have one hand free to catch your poop
I know.
because you're a poop. No, just you're a poop catcher because of the thing
Nobody's gonna
earlier.
get that because
Nobody's gonna get it because they're not gonna click on the link in the
Hashtag
chat.
poop
unless you were joining us for the beginning. Anyway,
But yeah. Long story short, I enjoyed the first few episodes of Outer Range. Josh Brolin is a great actor. He has the brevity, as you say or whatever, to carry a role like that.
As you say? You said brevity?
I
didn't
just
say
said,
brevity.
Oh, as you said, like the general you. Yeah.
we're
gotcha.
dying here, Joel, and I see you sweating like me now. So let's go.
Yeah,
it's getting close. I can see it.
I see it.
yeah, I'm glistening for
Starting to
sure.
be-
You're-
I'm okay.
He's glistening. 3 dudes in a closet glistening. Not what you thought it was gonna be.
Hashtag.
That's a great. That's almost like the men in makeup talking about sports.
There you go.
Is that
You
a
ever
thing?
wore makeup?
No, the sports center
No,
guys.
when,
like they
when
opened one of those shows.
my mom did a clown makeup on me when I was a kid, and I hated it. Like I
Yeah.
just didn't like the feeling of it on my skin.
No,
So I
I
don't
mean,
think I would have
You ever
ever.
wore
You
makeup?
mean like?
Just makeup. Any kind
Yeah, my wife's done Halloween makeup on me a couple times.
I was in a
I
stage.
don't
play.
like it. I don't care for it.
I was in a stage play, and they told me because I sweat so much. Clearly, this is something that I always had. I
Yeah.
was like 18 years old, and they told me I had to put like a. She said it was a layer of something that she had to put on my face so that I wouldn't glow under the theater lights because we were on the stage, and she
Right.
said the lights would make me
It's
sweat.
like a
and I was
matte
like-
paste.
Yeah, so it was. So this chick like got me in the makeup chair and stuff, and started putting all this makeup on my face, and that ended my acting career. I didn't like it. It feels really weird.
Yeah.
You know,
I
and you
don't
know,
like
to be
it.
fair though,
No.
my daughter is a makeup artist. She does special effects makeup,
Yeah.
like all the scars and stuff. I think you might have saw some of the stuff posted on like Facebook some years ago or
My
something.
daughter is an aspiring
So,
costume.
I do
artist
let
and
her
makeup
put,
artist
like-
and designer.
Like if she want to put like a scar or a stab wound or something on my
Yeah.
face, I let her do that. But it's been years since
Yeah,
we did
well,
that.
that's what my wife did. Last time I did it was we went for Halloween as Red Riding Hood and the Wolf. And
You were Red
puts it-
Riding Hood.
Fair enough.
I'm just messing with you, man.
Well, I mean, like, it's funny because it's true.
No, you was Red Riding
Oh, I'm
Hood.
kidding.
Bro, I was
The
about
fact
to
that
say.
you were able to turn it back on and make him even question it.
Right.
I was like,
Well,
bro, hold the
she was-
phone.
She was she was Red Riding Hood. She put like
It's funny
she
and
put like a
true.
claw mark across her face, and then she put some makeup on me, and like I just don't like the feeling of it. I don't know.
No, it's a weird
like
feeling.
yeah.
I don't understand. And listen, shouts out to the ladies out there that do that shit every day. I don't know how you do it, but that is
So let me ask you a
a really
question.
weird feeling.
If you had to wear makeup for your job, would you consider getting severed?
If they took the makeup off before I came home,
Right. Like they do the makeuping and the
Are you trying to
de-makeuping.
segue into
I wouldn't
talking-
know what
yeah,
I'm doing, so I wouldn't care.
I had one. You asked if him. If
No, go ahead.
questions
Yeah,
were-
yeah. I was just
I was
kidding.
gonna
I was
mention,
trying to just be
the-
funny about it to make it
I
obvious.
don't think I
but-
mentioned winning time on the podcast.
No,
so-
Big Al told me about that too. He's like definitely winning time. He's like obsessed with it.
Well, I wouldn't.
Just in the
obsess
sense
with
of like
dude, like
the way
honestly,
it's shot
like
and all that
I-
stuff.
After the way it's shot is awesome. So check. It's the story of the rise of the Lakers dynasty. It's starring John C. Riley plays Dr. Jerry Buss as he is buying the L.A. Lakers in the year they're drafting Magic Johnson, and it is a sensationalized story based on that time period. If you can take it as that and not sit there and go, that's not how that happened. That's not how that happened.
if I
If you can do
remember-
that, you're fine. I don't know any.
Right, that's what I say. I wouldn't
I'm
know.
watching it,
I'm
and it's
not old enough to know.
it's got like the fourth wall break, where John C. Riley will be like, talk to us. Like he'll turn to the camera and talk to the audience per se. You know what I'm saying? Like Deadpool does. Like,
Okay.
You know, and like he gives a speech about a swan and how a swan just looks like it's gliding across the water, but underneath the water it's fucking kicking up a storm, paddling, and then he'll like say a couple other things about like what he's doing and be like, now watch me paddle, motherfuckers, you know, and then like go like make a dope ass deal and buy the fucking Lakers for like $67 million. Like he bought the LA Lakers for like less than $70 million, and they're worth billions of dollars.
Well, but also money isn't worth what it was worth then.
Fair
either.
enough.
So 70
But-
million was an exclusive club of
and
people.
just the way
in that
they
time
like
period.
did the deals back then, it wasn't like, dude, a deal like that nowadays would take place in a boardroom with 50 people, assistants, you know, people on
legal
this
teams,
dude's
all
like,
that shit. Yeah.
he's like, all right, I got. It gives you like a little tally on the screen. He's like, I got this much in real estate. I got this much. I got the $18 million now I paid down cash, and now I have to come up with $15 million such and such in cash in 30 days. I got 120 grand in the bank. Like, watch me make this happen. You know, like it's pretty cool. It was like a
Yeah.
pretty cool show. They do a little thing where he meets Magic Johnson meets what's the dude who owns Nike's name? Phil Knight, right?
I have no idea.
Anyway, he meets this dude as he's about to get the shoe deal. Like, and he's got Adidas and Converse are the two big ones that are competing for Magic Johnson. Nike barely exists. So he meets Phil Knight, and he shows him his shoe, and he's like, yeah, man, I got to go ahead and go with Converse, you know, like, I'm sorry. Like, he's like, yeah. And then they do, like, Nike's shares at this time were 78 cents. Nike shares now are this, the money Magic Johnson lost was $57.8 billion. And then Phil Knight turns at the camera and goes, he regrets it.
He regrets it.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair though, if they had to sign that deal with Magic, they may not have gone into business with Mike.
That's exactly. Well, and you know that they were a coin flip away from having Chicago was a coin flip away from having that pick, and they would have totally picked Magic Johnson, which in turn would have made the Bulls good, and they would have never drafted Michael Jordan.
True.
So a coin flip, and it was like and I don't know if
be
it's a
fair.
true story, but they were like they're all on the phone getting ready to do the first pick in the draft to see who gets it, and they're like, anybody got a coin? Like nobody has a coin. The dude finds the coin under the fucking cushion, the couch cushion, and the fucking thing. So like these deals, like they're so sensationalized now, and so in the media, like this shit all took back in rooms and just
Right.
like, you know, with these dudes with all this fucking money tossing it around. It's just kind of a cool story, you know.
It
It's-
sounds like long version of Draft Day from Kevin Costner. You guys ever saw that movie?
I have not.
It's really good. It's one of the few Costner movies that I can actually watch from beginning to end.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's concluded now. I think it was 10 episodes.
It's done. Like there's no.
No, I
second
think
season.
I believe they will go into a second season. I don't. But interestingly enough, so I didn't know if this was all like sanctioned per se by the people that are in it. One of the players is played by his own son, Norm Nixon. Son plays Norm Nixon in the show.
Okay.
There's a bunch of good actors and actresses in it. Mike Epps plays Richard Pryor in a couple of scenes.
He's really still trying to get that role of playing Richard Pryor in a biopic.
The dude who plays Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is good. It's just a really, I don't know, like it's definitely a sensationalized story. So I don't know if it was sanctioned or not because there's a documentary on Apple TV Plus right now called "They Call Me Magic" with Magic Johnson, and it's like a documentary, and they're talking to him about it. So it seems like HBO was like, "Nah, we're gonna go ahead and do the show, regardless of what anybody says. We're just gonna go ahead and tell this story
It's
our
all
way.
public
We
information.
don't really care."
Right.
It
It's
says
not like it's Mickey
names have been
Mouse.
changed,
The
blood has been
expiration date,
changed,
yeah.
stories have been changed. This is a story. We're just telling a sensationalized story. It's just our version. It's not, And if you can take it as that and watch it as that, you should enjoy it. And
Okay.
I think it's very, very well done. So yeah, check that out. Winning Time. They couldn't call it Winning Time too because that's the nickname of that team is the Showtime Lakers, but they couldn't call it Showtime because you'd be calling one of your shows the name of one of your competitors.
Right.
So the name's kind of dumb. Winning Time. Right. When
Winning,
Showtime
yeah.
is the perfect name for that show. It just
To be fair, though,
legally couldn't be done.
Showtime has never really competed with HBO, but I get what you're saying.
Fair enough, but it's almost like lending,
Excuse me.
like you watching
The first
Showtime
4
on HBO,
seasons
like,
of Dexter were great.
I mean, like, let's not
Weeds?
get long-winded.
Was Weeds on there?
I remember
Was that on Showtime?
It was okay.
Or was that on
I don't
HBO?
remember loving
I don't
Weeds.
know.
Yeah, I think that was Showtime.
I remember Weeds.
And then
but it
Orange is the
definitely-
New Black was on there too, right? Or that ended up on
That's a
Netflix.
Netflix show.
Okay.
I thought Orange is the New Black was a Netflix series.
Oh, it's
It was
so
the same
cold-
creator
so cold
from
in here.
Weeds to Orange is the
So I
New
guess
Black.
we'll loosely segue from Apple TV Plus documentary to
I mean, I liked my original segue, but no, yeah, this one,
I know,
this
that's
blunt
just
one works
shit
too.
all over it. I'm
Like
sorry.
a blunt drill to the side of the head to remove Petey's chip. We'll just go right into it. Season 1, episode 7 of Severance. We're going to discuss 7 through 9. So if you have not seen through the end of the first season of Severance, please sever yourself from the podcast at the moment and come back later. I'll like click through. I'll put the little markers in there for each episode. So if you want to jump
Well, you
in
can
at a
hold
certain
on to
one.
that one.
What?
Sever yourself from the podcast.
I literally just said it right now.
You're a
He's
liar.
a freestyle king. He's the little
Just,
flip.
I can't plan things and then deliver them. I'm not a good actor. That's the problem. That's why Blinkard sucks. I'm good at producing, but I'm shit at acting. So we start with, what was the girl's name? Sengani or something like that?
Ragabi?
Ragabi, there you go. I could genuinely, I didn't have it written down on this one, but so she's the one who implanted the chips.
Seemingly.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
she
what she
put
said.
his chip in. Like, there's
Right.
got to be more than one doctor that's doing it, right?
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not that
Well,
long
they're
of
still
an
doing it.
operation. It might just be the one person. for
Well, we don't
confidentiality reasons.
technically know how long this has been going on.
Yeah, that's true.
We
I
have
would
no
imagine,
time frame of when Severance was like created to like now, like or like
Well,
currently.
we do actually. Severance was created when, and we're jumping ahead 2 episodes here, but when Helena talked to her dad in the bathroom, he mentioned that as a kid, when she was a kid, he brought home the first chip.
Okay.
So we're talking 20, 30 years here.
I mean, it's still a long time for something to be like a cell phone being fully ingrained into our everyday society.
Right.
You know, Severance has now been a thing for 25 to 30 years. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, iPhones have only been around, less than 15 years,
Right,
or
and
somewhere in
they're-
that ballpark. 2007, 8, 9, somewhere around there.
In about 5 years, they might even upgrade. But yeah, go ahead.
Let's see.
Your boy Ron he looked to the dark side.
He got an iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like the peer pressure type.
Well, she was mentioning that he brought the innie into this world without his permission. You know, and I don't think Audi Mark had even considered that yet. Like, obviously, Helly, her Audi, knows exactly what she's doing to hers, but I don't think Mark has had. They haven't alluded to any direct contact between the two of them, have they?
Between the two of who?
Like Innie and Audi Mark.
No.
Like him trying to quit and the Audi refusing, or showing a video back and
No,
forth.
because Audi Mark he went voluntarily and did it. It's not like he was.
Right, and his innie probably.
So the innie or the Audi completely understands what's going on.
Well, he doesn't.
He might have contacted him, but they haven't said anything about Mark.
I'm saying like they
replying.
haven't.
Maybe Audi or innie Mark to begin with, like he said he wanted to kill Petey. He might have had like a week or something of like, I got to get the fuck out of here before
Right.
he realized
It was
this
futile.
is not so bad, and it is what it is. I don't think there was ever had to be a like a recording from
Right.
Audi Mark to innie Mark.
Oh
like
well,
there
he
was
did
Audi.
hear that, and he still ignored it.
He heard the recording.
He heard the recording
They
and
were
like
all standing there. That was one of my thoughts during that scene was like, wow, what do they all think of this? Like,
they were all standing there. I'm talking about the recording that Petey played for Mark of himself.
oh, in the break
room.
room. Yeah, but that wasn't the same as directly speaking like Helly did. I'm saying the video where Helly's Audi spoke to her.
Oh, right.
And they were all standing in the room watching her say, "You're not a person." That goes for all you fuckers that are
Right.
standing there watching this.
Yeah, pretty much, and they played it in front of all of them. I think
Right.
for that purpose.
I think so too.
So this Ragabi, you said something like that. She kills Grainer, and they take his full access card. And they made the comment.
Did anybody catch? Sorry, did
Go ahead. No, you're good.
When she hit him with the bat, did anybody catch him groan in pain on the ground?
No, I didn't.
Like
I don't
after
remember hearing
she
it.
hit him, and you hear him go, "Ugh!" And then she's just like, dink, and she just
Right.
fucking puts him to sleep. And dude, Adam Scott's reaction to that was
Yeah, he was great.
great. Yeah.
But they took the card, okay? So a little point of contention with the card. And it's just for the point of discussion. I don't necessarily know one way or the other where we're leaning on this. But they took the card, and now either Grainer, they know Grainer's missing, and they shut off his access. Or we have to just take Ragabi's throwaway line of, this card can't be tracked. It can't be tied to any person or anybody thing. So it's like they don't know that somebody's using the black card right away. Like, wouldn't that set off some sort of, or is there not enough security? And it's, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many directions the conversation can go.
Well, she says specifically when
Right.
she hands the card to him, she says this can't be linked to anyone.
Right. But wouldn't they shut it off if they knew he had it?
How do they don't know he has it though?
I think you
Oh,
thinking.
no, I'm
See,
talking Grainer.
I don't know if there's a system
think you
in
thinking
place
of
that's
it-
keeping track of all of those swipes.
I think you're
Exactly.
thinking about it in the context of assuming that what's presented in the universe is necessarily being truthful from the people that's saying it.
Well, no,
And
that's what I'm asking.
For
Yeah,
me,
I don't know.
I think it's all just it's like the Matrix thing, like a Russian nesting doll of control systems. I think they're all being watched on each level. So even if they think they're doing something undercover or slick or something like doing the overtime protocol when Mr. I forgot what his name is. When what's his face went to Dylan's house to wake him up.
Milchek.
When I think they knew about that too. I think he thought he was being undercover.
You think
with
who
that.
knows about it?
The board or whoever.
Okay.
Until they show me otherwise, I feel like this is one of those situations where everybody is in some kind of experiment where they're watching everybody.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Like they're watching everybody on each level, and people think that they have some measure of control, but they really are still pawns at the end of the day.
Right. I think that there's just not the security. I think that's where I landed on it, is that there's just not the security that they present there to be. and like you said, they're not tracking swipes.
Right.
So even because it seems like that would immediately set off an alarm that like, oh,
Somebody
Grainer's
who's
card is
dealing with
being
this level of
used.
technology would have more
Wouldn't you think that they would have caught
sophisticated
it?
security measures than But that's what I was saying. It's a little it seems like in order for people to do these things, it's a little too easy. Like the fact that Petey was able to sit here and map out the interior,
Right.
and keep that on a piece of paper behind or on the back of the picture. Somebody would have saw that. They watched them constantly. They literally
Or they're not watching them constantly, and Milchick's the only guy. You know what I mean? Or
how do
Cobell.
you, as the one being watched, know when you're being watched?
No, correct. But
So
they
you
can
know what I'm
feel
saying?
like they're being watched. Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm saying. But Petey still drew that map. So my point is, it stands to reason that over the time of him mapping out this whole place, somebody would look like, "What the fuck is he doing?"
Yeah, why is
you
he-
would have looked at the camera like,
Why is he opening his picture again?
Like, why is he taking that picture out of that thing and he's writing on? He's there's a message there. He's doing
Right.
something. So to me, it feels like it's all just a part of a system of control. I'm gonna need you to hand me another ice water.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Mark goes back to his.
Oh, the sweat on the bottle.
Mark goes back to his house, and his date is still there. And he like tries to play it off like he was just roaming around the house, and she's like, "Yeah, I've been up for an hour." I mean, how did he think he was going to pull that one off? But he ditched his clothes, and then threw them in the garbage can right outside the house.
The garbage can that
Miss Selvig often
Selvig
uses.
is gonna keep tampering with.
And then she's like, "Should I go?" And he's like, maybe." And you can tell she was just like, "Oh, fuck you, really." I thought you were gonna say no. Don't go, baby. Stay with
You
me.
gotta pull it. It's cold outside. No, that whole relationship, I feel like she's a part of the system control too. The doula.
See, she agrees with me on here. They have code readers in the elevator, but they're not tracking the key cards. I just found that a little unbelievable.
Right, and that's my point. I think they are tracking it. That's exactly the point.
You think somebody else is,
I
not
think-
the people on that level.
No, I think they all are. Well,
I know. I don't
as a
think
hint for it, what I mean is
because I know we're
remember when
all
Mark-
gonna get into it later when we get to Cobell and Mark
that's
saying Miss Cobell, but
But you remember when Mark was reading the intro for the orient? God damn, I'm glowing. The intro for the orientation for Helly, and he was kind of struggling through it.
Yeah.
And Milchick was like, "Should I go in it?" Like they was watching that. And
yeah,
it was-
because that's a new
and
person coming in.
No, but still, no. I'm not talking about the reasoning for it. I'm talking about the action in that instant was. Let's just watch him and see what happened. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Let's just watch
as
and see what
opposed to
happened.
interfering?
Yeah, we don't have to interfere with everyone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like every single time an incident happened and somebody tried to do something, we don't have to stop every single thing that we don't want to want them doing. Sometimes let's just watch and see what happens.
Okay.
See, because a system of control works like this. If I wanted to control everybody in this neighborhood, it wouldn't be enough to put gates up, put up security, and have a guard. I have to make it where you're gonna control him. I have to make a system where when you desire to get up and leave, I shouldn't have to have somebody at the gate waiting for you to tackle you. Your neighbor, your wife, your kid, somebody gonna be like, "Don't go." You understand what I'm saying? That's how the system
Right.
actually works. So I can see them.
So you think that's what Selvig is?
Yeah,
She's
I
the
could
keep
see
him-
this show being that dense in thought.
I totally
that
think
they
that's
would
exactly
actually
what's
have
happening.
a
I agree
system
with them completely.
in
I don't know where
place.
we landed on the key card thing.
Well, we were just discussing how it all might just be a part of the system of control, and them not having that.
He
having
was
it that
saying
secure.
there might be like
They
other
might be
levels
observing
of
it,
this
but
that
they
are
just let it
observing
be. Right.
like might be observing the whole
So just kinda
floor to
watching
see
how it
what's
plays
going on.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as opposed to like Cobell and Milchick being like they're watching it, but there might be somebody else
Well,
watching the whole
absolutely, if they
thing.
have
Yeah,
the
yeah.
board or
the
whatever
board,
they're
yeah.
answering. There's people that they answer
I'm
to.
still thinking,
But
that
they're not
this-
watching closely because it took them a long time to get to the. Found the picture of Helly hanging herself in the elevator.
That too, and well, yes.
Yeah, and they definitely wouldn't want her to die.
So
They couldn't allow.
there's
allow
another
that.
thing. I don't know if it was in the last episode, so I don't know how much we're skipping around here. But like just like the key card thing, like so they put up the steel door. He escorts everybody into work that morning.
And then
They
he
get there.
immediately
He leaves. They leave.
Yeah.
Like, well, he runs away.
Wait, was
okay,
the
so I
security
guess
guard right there black?
What?
The security guard when they go to
Yeah.
the elevator. That's a black guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Hollywood, eat a dick. I'm tired of the inept black security guard trope.
But he's not inept. What did he
was.
do?
He let Helly choke herself.
Why would he be thinking that?
Every time something...
She came up at the wrong time.
Listen, for me, I don't know what Joel talking about. I'm talking about I've watched enough media
So is that
to
explain why he
know
wasn't sitting there?
that
then?
every time I see a
think
black
so.
security guard, that's when something bad gonna happen.
I just think that she specifically took extra time to do that, or did that at a time that she wasn't supposed to be leaving, and therefore it wasn't at her exact moment to where he's like waiting there at the
No, he
desk
shouldn't
for
have
her
been
to come
standing there,
out.
though. He should.
Because they should all be coming out back to back. So like, who knows? He may not even have to sit there for most of the day.
Nah,
You think he's sitting there the whole day?
I've seen it in that black security guard trope too many times. I know it when I see it. Trust me, that's what it is.
At least
that's
they didn't like
that's
pin it
not
on
that
him or
deep.
nothing.
No, just hear what I'm saying.
Wait till you see that they actually do some shit like that. He'll be so mad. I would be mad for him.
No, I'm saying I've seen it a million times. I'm telling you, bro. Watch any of your favorite movies, and you're gonna start to notice a pattern. When you black, you notice it. If it was something about guys with glasses and TVs that you felt wasn't true to people who wear glasses, you would start noticing it because you like take it as a personal insult. And I'm telling you, I'm watched so much television and movies.
You feel like they've treated this security guard that poorly already? That's
No, I'm not about treating them. I'm talking about when they're writing stuff and they want an inept security guard situation, it's always a black guy. I've seen it a million fucking times. It's just something I noticed. That's all.
fair enough.
It's just
Can't
that
contest
quick
it.
oversight, that quick, I'm going to look the shit. They had to, you'll see.
My only thing is I hadn't had any thoughts that he was in.
No, I wouldn't give it. No, I wouldn't give it. I wouldn't. What I'm saying is, I wouldn't give that scene that much thought to think, well, maybe he walked away or something. I'm still of the mind that the system is about watching everybody constantly.
You'd think the
I
ding
think
would have
it's
at least alerted somebody when he got up there.
I honestly think that it's an experiment. I don't know why. I know they said like it's on purpose, and you was talking about maybe possible reincarnation, something like Get Out or something like that, like moving forward in time by taking over different bodies and stuff,
I never saw Get
revolving and
Out.
stuff.
I just never had a chance to watch it. It was on my list, and it like just kept getting. I
Yeah.
just never watched it. I never got a chance to watch the whole thing. I mean, it's a scary movie, and I don't like watching scary
It's
movies.
not
by
scary
myself.
at all. Well, it wasn't scary to me. Me and my 5 children.
That wasn't scary to you?
Me and my 5 children were in the back row of the
Seems
movie.
like that would have been.
Me and my 5 children were in the back row of the movie theater. We were the only black people there, and I shit you not, we were cheering and laughing the entire time. We were
Right, until
thoroughly-
all the people in there turn around and look at you like.
I don't give a fuck what you gonna do. Get your ass
No,
beat.
I don't mean that. I
Yeah,
meant like
no,
in
no,
the movie.
like all at the same time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
one of us. I'd be like,
exactly like
yeah, you can't tell me that shit wouldn't have scared
they
you.
all
I know.
stand
I would
up.
have sent
and-
my kids out first. Send them
But
out.
you're in the
and
back row. You're trapped.
I'm sending them out. I'm closing the door behind them, and then I'll be like, "No, y'all ain't here with me.
Right.
You got to get through
If
me."
it's
to
a
get
horde
through.
of zombies
Rocket
between the, if
Raccoon.
you're in the back row,
You can't use Rocket Raccoon in that situation.
Why?
Because it's
Were you
raccoon.
Groot in that situation?
Yeah, it's a good group.
he's focusing on the last half of it.
Thank you. Joe gets it. Joe knows
Raccoon.
all the. Joe gets all the racial slurs. He knows them.
I like wordplay.
I don't know why.
I
he
like
knows them all,
wordplay.
but
That's
he knows
why,
them.
because I can dissect wordplay.
But no, at the end of the day, what I was saying though was, I think it's all a system of control. But even though you guys are leaning towards the whole moving forward revolving thing is,
No, I don't necessarily
that's a-
believe that.
but I think this is an experiment, man.
I think that Mark's freshman fluke was that he refined Gemma into before the timer ran out. Like they acted like it was a huge deal when he had a freshman fluke.
So you're acting. So you're saying that.
Because what happened
Yeah,
right
I like
after?
that.
What
Like,
hap-
so the
happened right
refining of
after
the data is actually they're extracting the memories.
like
that-
the four things, the four tempers, or whatever. They're putting them into 4 boxes of numbers, and one's scary, one's this, one's that. So like they could be trying to get. I don't know how the hell it makes any sense. Obviously,
Well, no, like I was thinking. So like they're like doing it. They're like programming these chips unknowingly for like the next.
right? They're sorting.
person.
Oh, this is
So
how they're
going-
getting
that's
to
why
that
it takes them
thing.
so long because
So-
wait.
Go ahead.
Because I got to finish this thought because
Yeah.
that's how they're like getting to the point of like you read that, you showed me that Lexington letter thing where
Right.
it said like they know about beer but they couldn't name a brand. They know they live in America but they couldn't draw a map of it, like even a rudimentary map of it. So it's like these weird things of, like
So they saw
Irv
it
knowing
through,
how
like,
to
foggy,
drive. Like
yeah.
he somewhere like in there, like he knows about cars. He might not be able to show you a different types of cars, but he would
know they
that
exist.
know how to use the pedals instinctively and know to put it in drive. You know what I mean? Like know those weird. He would know how it feels, so that's why it's awkward. But like the basic knowledge of it is there. The basic knowledge of how to use elevator buttons. The basic knowledge of how to use a phone or a computer. Like all this little knowledge is there, but they don't know the color of their mother's eyes. They don't
It's just
know.
everything is vaguely.
So like
familiar.
maybe they're refining their
Yes.
memories.
That's exactly where I was
And
going with it. Is that they
Their macro
they're,
data.
they're-
Oh my god, we just fucking cracked
they're
the code.
Wait a minute.
they're taking out the stuff that Kier doesn't want in there for the innie, aka specific memories of things.
Right,
And
because it
they're
all
coming
has-
in there as children. Like I stand by that shit. They're
Well,
like children. They
but-
name them with the last. If it was a Richard, he'd be Ricky in there. You know what I mean? Like that's what they do. They infantilize them. They call them Mr. Milchek and Miss Cobell.
So
They're
are you
kids.
saying that they're
Okay.
taking their own?
Like school children.
They're
better.
taking
Yes.
their own memories.
You know, not just
out.
babies,
No,
but like
I'm saying that when they reference Mark's freshman fluke,
Okay.
they said he finished one in some record time or nobody thought it would be able to be done or something like that. They gave it something that made it extraordinary, and that could be that she had died or whatever.
please tell me this
that
is
it-
just a developing conversation and you didn't fucking get this from somewhere, because I think this is fucking great.
We're just talking, yeah.
I love the fucking
No, because
refining
I
the
thought
memories
I thought what y'all was just saying was what I heard, and it might be the heat a little bit messing with my brain, but I was under the assumption that you were saying that they were taking their own memories out in order to be replaced by the people that would,
No, I'm saying that Mark is
like,
refining.
if I wanted to take my mind and put it into his body so I can move forward, I would need to remove a lot of data first.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is Mark sat there and he was doing a file.
Okay.
I'm proposing it was Gemma's file. So it had an expiration date, and he's sorting out all of the stuff where Gemma remembers him
anything.
and getting rid.
But
Yeah,
no, but
remembers
she's
any
like
specifics.
setting them to the point of like default, like Helly was when we first met her.
I don't even know about that. Well, possibly yes. I see what you're saying.
That's
there,
what I'm saying. So Dre, you come into, so fuck it. I go into Lumen and I'm like, I want to work here. I want to be a severed worker.
Right.
I'm voluntarily doing this.
Right.
Right. So at that point, I sign up. I do all the paperwork, whatever. Make the video for the innie, like she did the introductory video.
Right.
Right. And then my file gets put in a name like Sienna or whatever. I can't remember some of the other
Yeah.
names of them. My file name would be Vasitis because
Right.
it's just a strange word. It would be strange to other people, you know.
It's very strange that word.
So they would get that word and then they would do that refining thing where they're moving around and locating the different
Mm-hmm.
feeling numbers or whatever, and that's them taking out all of that shit.
Yes.
To do what with?
To
They're
get rid
probably
of,
getting rid of the scary
so
ones
that
or something.
so that when I'm not working on my own file, macro
I know,
data
but what I'm
refinement is
saying
working on my
to-
file and getting the
for
chip
what
ready,
purpose?
and getting the chip ready for so that when they plug it into my head, I'm an innie.
Right.
I wake up
for
the innie.
Gemma. Let's just say this is fact.
how long do you
Mark
think-
is working on Gemma's chip, and he only has so long to get it done. He
Right.
gets it done in record time, and then boom, she's there doing wellness sessions. As soon as Helly finishes her file in one of these episodes, these last couple, they retire Miss Casey, and they're bringing somebody new in, and I'm thinking it's going to be Grainer.
Well, they retired Bert.
Right.
Bert left.
See, but they would know Grainer.
Well, they would know Bert.
I'm saying they would know his face. Like if they brought back
Oh,
Grainer,
I see.
like,
yeah.
they would
No,
know
that
his
was
face.
just a thought.
Yeah, but see that. Well, I just shit on it. I'm sorry, but like
No,
they would
it's
know
fine,
who
that
he
makes
was right
sense.
away, unless they somehow can erase that memory from them.
From them,
which,
yeah.
Which
I mean, it's clearly
potentially
possible.
could be done. It's
Right.
clearly possible. So like that's like other refiners. There's another micro data refiners.
Somebody's coming
You
in
know?
to replace Miss Casey is basically the impression. They said somebody new will be doing
Right.
that. This will be her last session, her
Right.
wellness session.
Right.
So one, perfect timing with the whole Mark thing, and two, I think it's because Helly finished her file. They're ready for another one.
Right.
They're refining the macro data of these
People
things.
who are coming
yeah,
in.
the people
But
that are coming in.
has
And,
to be, I get it. I get it.
Okay.
You're talking about process.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, to what end?
to have
we-
another person in there.
To have
working.
another separate worker.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's almost like we're refining data to get more hires, to refine more data to get more hires, to refine more
Well,
data.
they're not
They
all
don't-
going to
what do
be
you
in
say
that
with
What are you
workers?
doing?
They don't. They're not necessarily going to macro data refinement. They could be going to any of the number of departments we don't even know about.
She
yet.
could have just finished one for O&D.
Right.
You know what I
Since
mean?
Bert's
To
leaving.
replace Bert. I could be wrong on
I
the,
feel you,
the
but when you look at the
consequence there.
other departments, I think they had like random items.
But it might.
over-
Oh,
remember they had the random items
Can I
and
say
shit.
something real quick? I love the random items thing, but did you see how big O&D was? They're having a hard time populating it. That's why the parking lot is always so empty, and they're having a hard time finding people to come in and be severed workers.
Which-
So
well,
because
there's
it
definitely
takes
some-
fucking, or they're in line and they're waiting to be fucking refined.
Right. Right. There
And
you go.
some might get
And there's
declined
also
for that
but-
reason.
And there's also like a lot of
There's room for growth.
controversy over the whole situation.
Right.
So, which could potentially, like, this is how many years in, like we said. So
Yeah,
at
we don't
first,
know.
everybody's like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." Now, here's all the side effects, or here's the shit that we're learning, and here's the stuff that's coming out about severed people. In like, then like Helly's announcement to everybody.
But that was
it's
to
going be the,
nobody outside of there. That was just to that room.
It wasn't a thing that was being
It
broadcast.
was in
just a
Lumen.
gala.
It was just a gala in Lumen. They're talking to their people. You know what I mean? Or they're talking to people they're trying to
She
convince
still
of it.
tackled him though. Like there had to be reporters and shit there because they're trying to get this out in the public. That's exactly what Helly's story was about. Was selling Severance to the public.
Yeah, I think
Right.
they might have been talking to investors or something like that.
How cool was the? We're like jumping around all over the place.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, like,
other
I was
shit.
enjoying that aspect because, like, I
really
there's
like
gotta be
that
something
idea.
to that,
I really
right?
like that idea of that's the purpose of the numbers, that they're refining, they're macro refining somebody's fucking memories and just erasing all of that shit. Like you said, okay, this is the scary memory that they have from when they were a kid when they thought something
maybe
was under
they're
the
not
bed.
even erasing it, dude. Maybe they're filing it away,
Filing
like
it
you
away or
said.
backing it up,
Yeah.
and they can replace it. Oh, dude, this
Replace
is
it with what? That's what I'm.
replace it.
Look,
Put it back in the person. Make
Why?
them one whole person again.
Well, I'm asking for this one specific reason. As Whackers says in the chat, she says the ultimate goal is to have everyone be severed. And my question is this: what is the ultimate purpose of it? Like,
You
if
would have a workforce that has.
is it a work for? Yeah, but like, what exactly is it that you're doing? To me,
that's
I
big
feel like
picture stuff.
to me, I feel like they're taking people's memories, and I could go with the process that you're talking about. I can agree on the process because that makes sense with refining the numbers and stuff. But I feel like they're doing it for the goal of replacing those memories, and maybe so. Like, say for instance, I'm one of the founders, right? One of the people from the museum. We get a body ready. Okay, this motherfucker done took all this shit out of his head. We refined all this shit.
What do you mean a body?
When I want to revolve and go forward in life. I want to put my consciousness in another younger body so I can keep living.
So that's
So
what
this
you're
is what
saying. So,
I don't think that's
No,
what
this is-
revolving
but
is
this is-
anymore.
Okay,
This is-
I'm
this-
listening. I'm listening.
but
I was just
hear
trying
what
to see if
I'm
we're on the same page.
So
Okay.
what I'm saying is, I'm thinking, even if that's not the goal of it, I'm thinking there's something about the way the departments work that, like the random objects thing. Like, say for instance, you want to test whether or not I'm reintegrating right. So you put my consciousness in another body. So yeah, maybe you have a whole bunch of random objects you have to show me so I can refamiliarize myself with them or something like that. I don't know. It's got to be something.
Well, we
It's-
haven't
it's-
seen any
But their
evidence
goal
like that.
isn't them trying to do that. I think Miss Cobell was talking about trying something different with Miss Casey, but we don't necessarily have any evidence that
So you're
they're
thinking-
trying to do the reintegration.
So do you think that? What do you think is up with Miss Casey then? What do you think? Like, you think she actually died and they brought her back to life?
I don't know, man. Like,
Or
I
do you
really
think that
don't.
she was on the brink of death, and that was like gave them the opportunity to do this experiment. How did they get a
mean,
hold of her
okay,
if
so,
she was
like,
dead? Like, how did they get a hold of her body?
If
Like,
she
how-
was an organ donor, but like, yeah, I mean, we don't know. They could be Westworlding something down in the basement or in the in the other lab or whatever. That I mean, I'm just talking through any possibility here. Like they could be doing something like that. I don't know how they're reanimating somebody who died 2 years ago. Presumably they're having to heal them back. You know what I mean?
Because
So
you would
like,
have to assume
would
that
take
she
a while.
actually did have an accident. It was bad enough for them to be able
But they
to
could have
pass out
possibly
that shit.
caused it.
That too, but what I'm saying is there's other people in the town who are supposedly not severed, like Rickon and his wife and all these other people who knew her. Somebody would have to have seen her body at a funeral or something like that. So you assume she died for real?
No, but they could have had somebody in the police department or the coroner's office or somebody that a paramedic that went there and grabbed her and said, "Oh, she died on the way to the hospital."
Oh, for fuck's
and then,
sake.
"Oh, we cremated her or we donated her body to science because blah blah." You know what I mean?
Or
And
she
just
wanted it that way, or
yeah,
something
that's
like
what
that.
it was on her forms. Like they could have corruption-wise just stole her before.
Bell straight up went to a funeral and drilled into the side of a dude's head and took his chip out.
Yeah.
So these people are not above doing the things that you're saying.
Right.
You know, so Grainer could have totally done what you're saying, been driving the fucking ambulance
Right.
and,
And
drove.
then they walked her out.
And then they're like, okay, now we got another non-willing subject here, but if we were able to do the refinement in time, and again, I feel like
That's different.
the fact that she was dying potentially, like, oh, we got to hurry up and do this.
This is completely from my thoughts.
So do you
and
think her
nobody else?
personality then is
I
backed
think
up
maybe she
somewhere?
was brain dead and they severed the part of her brain that was dead.
They could have, yeah.
I
You think
stole
she-
that from you, Jay. Why? Because you can't do nothing about it because I got the mic.
We were talking
Sorry.
about her personality possibly being backed up somewhere, to
Like
where
her
they
whole,
could.
like,
Well, they filing stuff away, so it
Right.
seemed like that would be possible. But I'm just trying to listen. I don't think they would write the show and show that his wife is still alive without that being the motivation for him moving forward to try to get out,
make
more.
her a whole.
You know what I'm
person,
saying? So
or him and
him
her.
getting out of that job, period, is that's his motivation for the next season, and to find out what's going on with his wife, and it might be the motivation to keep him there long enough to figure out what's going on at this company or where she is. So I could see that being a driving force behind next season. But my whole thing is, what are they doing all this for? I need to know. I don't
We
want.
were just talking about why, like for that reason, for
it
at
just-
least on that level. I
it
feel
just
like,
blows my mind.
think of it in the sense of Lost, and I'm sorry to have to use this as an example,
No,
but
you're not.
the end of season 5, you gain a piece of information that you didn't know before that, so you never could have guessed where season 6 was going to go, because you didn't have that Jacob thing, like that
Right.
that scene, where it was like, oh, that's what's going on here. Like they withheld that information until they were ready for you to have it. We're
Right.
never going to be able to see the big picture until they start dripping in information.
Well, I think we were having a brief discussion earlier, and I said the show needs not that this first season I thought was perfect the way it was. I'm not saying they
Right.
should change it, but in the next season we need that like you said, Lost. It was season 3, the pullback shot of
town
Dharmaville
or-
in the middle of the fucking island, like when you're like, whoa,
Right.
Like what? Like that was like world expanding.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It was it pulled back the scope a little bit, and I think they'll do that in the next season.
It's like when you pull
And-
back and you see a whole bunch of spider webs.
But then you just keep walking past them.
You just
There's
go.
just a little segment of the woods. Don't worry about it.
That was so
You get
weird.
you get through them like
We're
them
not
with the
gonna
black
start
security
crapping on the
card
show
and
that-
those new doors that they bothered
We're
to
not gonna
install.
start crapping on the show.
Like
but
they
it was-
installed the doors and
it
they
was some
worked.
stupid
They
stuff,
didn't work
man.
once. Like they didn't
Well,
work
that
one
was, I think I
time.
was getting at that, like so they left, and then he like didn't even question how they got out. He just like when he caught them or caught
No,
Irving.
he said we're just gonna have to check on those doors to make
Right.
sure they're functioning properly.
Right.
Bert went to the break room yesterday, so he got punished for what did they do? I can't remember what Bert did. Was it just them hanging
I
out?
think they were
it
the
was
fact
him
that
giving
they
the
were
tour.
they were at
O&D.
O&D, right?
Okay. He explained the overtime contingency. Milchek won't tell him his kid's name, and now, like, when they get there in the morning, he's escorting them to the desks like children. Like, it came up on a Reddit post. Somebody asked why they think they call them by Mr. and Mrs., and it was like, to me, it's clearly they're infantilizing them. Like, they're treating them as children. They're shortening their names, throwing the Y or the IE at the end kind of thing. And it's just to set a hierarchy within the workplace of that you don't go above your lot in life, so to speak. What do you think was with Mrs. Selvig teaching Mark's sister's baby, or like teaching her how to latch? Like, do you think that's genuine stuff? Like, do you think Miss Selvig, as a person outside of the Miss Cobell aspect, is a real thing? You think that's just a blending thing?
I think she might be psychotic.
You think she's just trying to get more info on Mark?
Well, my last
her?
theory on her was that she has some kind of obsession with Mark, and it might be why she's at that company to begin with. She might be in the same position as Mark, not as severed and loss of memory, but somebody she care about works there, and she trying to figure out what's going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the severed thing might be bigger than what we know.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Has to be.
Like Rickon and all these other people might be severed. Maybe that's why they so goddamn stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine
A
if the
different
whole
type
town
of
was,
severance?
right? Or just a different type of severance. Maybe that's why Rickon and his whole friends group is like a bunch of idiots.
Right.
You don't know, but like I said, it's just like the Matrix. I think about it like the Matrix. Neo walked out of the Matrix. He used his power outside of the Matrix. I think the original story for that was that there's different levels of control. There's different levels to the Matrix. It's like we still in control. You just think we giving you the illusion that you free.
We're showing you some progress.
When reality, you're not going anywhere.
Well, his sister
Or like you
was-
said with the Maze Runner, you go
Right.
out. Here's the next level.
Next level, yeah.
His sister was asking if they were severing people outside of work, and Selvig just kind of dismissed it. And
You see what I mean?
she asked if Mark has ever seen his dead wife. So that was a weird question. Why do you think she would be asking that?
Because she's been messing with them though. Because she's been playing with that. Like it's almost like she wants to push the boundaries of Severance. Like because she's like, she put in that last wellness session with those two. They had that candle.
Oh, that's what she
put
put
them
in
in the
there.
room with
I
that-
didn't even
with
catch
that
that, but I
candle.
remember
Bro.
her grabbing it. I remember seeing her grab it. I just didn't catch that.
She's doing what I'm telling you. She's trying to see if it's a way.
To break it, or to,
That's
or
why.
to, like,
That's why the board made sure they reiterated that you can't reverse it. To her specifically.
Well, they just
they might
want
be.
you to accept it as a fact, so you
No,
don't even.
but what
like-
I'm saying is, think about it. If they know she's a double agent, so to speak, think about it. If they know she's in there trying to see if she can wake somebody up, and they like, you should
they
know.
just keep telling her.
Yeah,
no,
they
it
just
doesn't
they
happen.
fucking with it. You know what I'm saying?
Do you
Like,
think she's working against? I don't know. If,
I feel like
I don't
she
know
is.
what
She
her
would have to be.
motivations are.
she would have to be.
It's because she
We'll get
raced
to
to
that.
stop it.
We'll
She
get
raced
to that
like,
later
put a stop-
because I just have so many issues with that, and we talked about them briefly. But like, I just can't wrap my brain around that scene. Her motivation is exactly what we're talking about now, and like
She ran
that,
over.
that will lead to it, but it didn't happen like that. Like there was this gap of time that made no fucking sense at all.
Where?
Once we get to the party, like
Okay.
where he's doing the book reading, that thing, where he's when Mark, after he's innie Mark for a little bit, and Miss Cobell keeps like stopping him after like one of the readings already. She keeps stopping him, and he's like, "I gotta go," and he's like, "Okay, Miss Cobell," and
Right.
walks away. Now, everything in me tells me that even though she got fired, like that's the only like exemption I'll give here. Her not caring for a second because she's got fired, or not thinking about it, or not noticing it because Mark calls her Miss Cobell in that exact voice all day, every day.
and
And
we
we might
went-
have just slipped past her. We saw a slight like
You
something
said
on her
she should have
face.
just went instant.
I'm saying, yeah, because then what happens after that? She hangs around while Mark dips out for a bit. He goes and finds his sister. Then his sister brings the baby out and hands it to Miss Cobell. And when she looks down at the baby's innocent, doughy child eyes, then she fucking like goes and, because it doesn't make any sense to go, here's what I'm going to wait for. I'm going to wait for his sister to come out and give me the baby. Then I got to go set the baby in a car seat, strap it in, and bail the fuck out of
Can I
here.
give you a possibility of what happened?
Anything, dude, will help me.
To me, I feel like I'm just spitballing, but
Yeah.
I feel like in that moment she could have said, "Oh, maybe I can wake him up." But then she like, "Okay, let me go and observe and see just to make sure I'm not tripping or whatever." And then
She
she
didn't even
made
see anything.
she may have come to a realization shortly after, if he's awake, that means the other people are awake, and if they have to shut this thing down because the outies get out, I mean the innies get out, and they have to shut this thing down, maybe they kill everybody or something. I don't know what they do
Right.
when they have to deal with people. You know,
Like
what
the
I'm
way
saying?
when she finally did call Milchek, it was very panicky and like, oh my god, hurry up,
Right,
hurry
I
up.
think that was a life
Why
or
did
death
she
moment.
wait for 15 minutes or whatever before going?
Well,
I feel like
she,
it didn't
yeah,
click.
she said because
I
Mark
feel
was
like she
trying to find
figure it
her.
out too.
Mark was trying to find his sister. He was walking away to try to find her to have that conversation
Right.
when she stopped him and he called her Miss Cobell.
Right.
And then that point where I think that her face changed and she realized, but then you're like, I wasn't watching it in that much detail, but yeah, like she hangs around. Then they go in the room and have that conversation of I'm any Mark.
Right.
And
Maybe she was
And
outside
she's
of
not
the door.
and
snooping.
it wasn't seemingly
Because
but
what
it
happened
wasn't
is she
seemingly
walked out and handed her the baby. She walked into the room and we see Miss Cobell look down at the baby right then and kind of then you see her go like tense up and like
yeah,
oh
and
fuck.
then so that's exactly what happened then. So you're right. So she realized it then looking at the baby after they're already in there and she's like, oh, he's in there telling her right now what's happening. She realizes that, oh shit, that's any Mark and he's in there.
Yeah,
telling
because
his
of the
sister right
doughy.
now.
Wait a minute, he was just giving me those
I gotta
doughy
get
innocent
the,
eyes.
I gotta
Like,
get the fuck out of here.
I
So,
think
yeah.
it slipped past her the first time. Like I genuinely do. I don't
Right,
think
it could have been something she missed.
she was just like, oh, Miss
I guess
Cobell,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Why'd they
That'd be hard to
linger
keep
onto that
straight.
camera on her face like that?
Maybe to show that she didn't like. I don't know, man. Like because that really bothered me. Because I'm like, wait, get the fuck out of there, go now.
It's such a slight facial thing, but when she
It did. We watched it. It dropped
She
a little.
changes
Listen,
We
from
got something.
This is pertinent.
Okay.
Wacker said she had that altar in one of the episodes, and there was medical equipment in it and a hospital bracelet. Maybe she lost the baby, and there's some connection there. Maybe
But she left the baby. Oh, you're meaning that
left the
she
baby
saw
safely,
the
but
baby.
she's looking at the baby, and maybe it's got something to do with it. She's old enough for one of them to be her children. You know,
What, like Mark's her kid or something like that?
she treats him like a mother.
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't be too
it's not
far-fetched.
it's not the craziest thing I've heard, honestly.
Do you remember the color of your mother's eyes?
Wait, but Audi Mark would remember his mom.
Not if
Unless
he's
he
not
was-
fully outie. I don't think it's no fully outies, man. I'm going with the Matrix.
Sorry though, but Devin would remember her mom.
Yeah, but I don't think none of them is fully outie. I'm
I
not.
think everybody that we're watching.
She did say everybody in the world should have one of those or whatever later on.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's something else. Maybe Miss Cobell could be kind of like maybe it's not Mark. Maybe it's not Devin or anybody. Maybe it's a kid
I can see it
in
being
that
like,
building,
oh
and
yeah, you
she's
said it
just
was a
using
baby.
Mark. You know what I mean? As a means to get contact. It could have been Petey. Who knows? Well, no, he's a little too old to be her kid, but still.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, let's see, where else we got? Dylan biting Milchek.
That shit was my
The
favorite.
melon party or the
dance
music
party.
dance experience was
Yeah.
really strange.
Yeah, that was really creepy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have like they're all original music because like you would know what music is, but you wouldn't know any specific artists.
Yeah, so it's just kind of generic,
Right.
defiant jazz.
Defiant Jazz was the name of that, right? And she picked the maraca. And what did he say? Excellent choice. And what's Herb was like, you should have picked the Castanedas. Like, it made me laugh for some reason. I don't know why.
Right.
It was just like
You just had such a
he is, like,
specific vision.
He's already like at this point. He's already said
Let's burn it down.
no, not yet.
No,
Yeah,
that's
right.
he's about to get to that when we
Yeah.
get to
Yeah.
him retiring.
So yeah, the music dance experience was strange. Dylan goes on.
Mark Dance is so white.
Oh god, the dancing. Was it racist to you that they made Milchek the best dancer in the room?
They didn't. Nature did that. You can't act dance. Like if you can dance, you can dance. If you can't dance, you can't dance.
Well, and
They not gonna CG your body to make you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Dude, he had that stupid smile on his face. Like this motherfucker's actually having a good time.
Right.
no, Milchek is insane. I think Milchek is insane. Cobell's insane.
Could they
Does
just
anybody
like
know
be
his
on
first name?
acid? Could they just like all be on acid? down there?
Milchek's first name? Nobody. Seth
Okay, I
Seth
remember
Milchek.
hearing that once. Yeah. Now that you say it.
and Doug Grainer
So
and Harmony Cobell.
yeah, I remember Harmony.
So those are the only full names that we get.
Some weird names.
Well,
No, we get some later on at Irv's house,
Oh, yeah,
his
you're right,
Audi
right,
Irv's house. He threatens to call Cobell, and Dylan calls his bluff. Like, yeah, let's go tell her. Let's go tell her what just happened. The whole overtime protocol. Then he explains the overtime contingency to the other three,
Yeah.
and they try to figure out why he's got the key card, but it does let him out. And then Irving immediately dips out. Like, I'm going to help Bert. Going to check on
We're
Bert.
gonna check on Bert. Yeah. And he walks into a retirement party
Right.
for Bert.
It felt like a ballsy move to use the key card so soon. No?
See, to me, like I think we're just stuck in such a world to where we know that like that wouldn't be a thing. The key card would be read as like that key card was coded to Doug Grainer. It just doesn't happen in that way in this world. It's
No,
not
but they
thing.
did that
He said
throwaway
the
line.
key card cannot be linked to anyone.
Yeah, but they
just
threw in
a
that
code.
throwaway line, so forget logic.
Well, you're saying logic, but we don't know what kind of technology exists here. We don't really like know what they're using in the building. It's different than the outside world.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like the technology is different there. They have a fucking code reader in the elevator that
Do we
reads
believe
codes.
we believe that that's a thing?
I mean, I don't know. Like it happened. We saw
They
it
haven't.
happen.
They haven't showed the code reader work with something written inside your body, so I don't know yet.
Well, he gave a very good explanation as to why you don't want that to happen.
But you don't want
Right.
Milchick to have to
Extract it.
Extract it.
Right.
So they make it to the security office, and there's like, they see their names with numbers next to them on a very Dharma-looking computer panel. And they like start going through the overtime paperwork to figure out the procedure
That's
and
what I
all
mean,
that
the
shit.
technology here looks old school, so maybe they're just not capable of tracking it like that. Like you just have a master key. If you have one of those black cards, it's just a master key card. Like it just unlocks.
Maybe it works like a hotel
But
room.
would that let them? Would that potentially
So
then?
hotel key cards still have
Yeah.
numbers associated with them, which a number could be associated with.
I'm not 100%
person's
sure.
name.
Have you ever taken a hotel key card and tried to go to the wrong room?
Yeah.
I haven't. Oh, you
It
have.
won't let you even go in the elevator to a different level.
Okay, so
It
then
only lets you go to your level or the basement, like with any more elevator key cards.
yeah,
or,
they had that
hotel
at the
key
Marriott.
cards.
When I was just
I
at the
haven't been-
Marriott,
I don't-
you
I
can
don't-
only press the 14th floor because I was on the 14th
Right.
floor, so I can.
I
get on
never
the elevator,
had. I've
press
never been in a
14,
hotel with where I had to use the key card to get in and out of the
Yeah,
elevator.
you can't even go
That's
upstairs.
post-COVID, I
I've
think.
never had that.
Do you think then that? Okay, question about the elevators. Do we assume that there's something as they're passing down that they're passing through that switches them, or do we think that somebody's flipping a switch as they're in the elevator, or that something is being triggered when they run their card to the elevator?
I
Because-
just think it's just a physical barrier.
Right, but when
Kinda like
Grainer
a
goes out of there or Cobell goes out of there, presumably they can go out the same elevator. Or do you think they're going out some other way? And like that, no matter what, when you go through that, I'm trying to get at, do you think no matter what, when you go through that elevator, you flip?
If you don't have a chip, it doesn't.
Yeah, but they
matter.
don't have a chip.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But if you don't have a chip, it doesn't matter. But the reason I'm
You're saying
asking is
can
because
you
if
go some
Grainer
other
went
way?
there and put the key card in to leave, would it not trigger the Audi protocol and they would just remain their innie going up?
Oh, yeah.
Like, is there something in the key card that they do put in because they all have their own? Is there something that's going? Oh, this is a severed worker. When they go up, switch them to where like if he put Grainers in there, it would just go up like a normal person. I don't know. Cobell came down the main elevator.
I'm saying that there's something. I'm saying that there's something there that's automatic that triggers the chips. It doesn't matter where the key card is.
Okay.
There's a sensor or whatever that triggers that chip when you come down. If you don't have a chip, you just ride the fucking elevator down.
Okay. Fair enough. It was
So
just
wouldn't matter
just a
who put
thought.
the thing in the car in the
Yeah.
key card.
Well, because they can
there's
turn
just
it
some
on.
Sort of like whatever.
They can turn it on from anywhere though. So in theory,
Yeah,
it's
but
not
that's a different
relevant to a
system.
location.
Yeah, it can't be relevant to a location.
So you're saying there's somebody
It-
standing on either side of those things, switching that thing at the elevator?
No,
as they
no, no,
come
no,
down the
no. What
elevator?
I'm saying is the technology might be there
That's
in
an
place
emergency
for
protocol.
That's the emergency
physically for the
version.
elevator and the staircases. But the actual technology might be town-wide. You know what I mean? It has to be town-wide.
Well, there has to be some way to get that signal from there to there. I mean,
To the chip, yeah. To
Right.
the yeah.
I'm just so like I'm saying like so like that's like when they turn that on, it goes through whatever radio waves or whatever it is to get to the chip. There's a device in the elevator that's just always on.
No, I don't. I don't
Which
think
makes
that's.
the most
I
sense to
agree
me.
with that, but I was just wondering if it were possible
I
because
get
then
where
they
you're
could
going with
leave
it. I would just
and just pretend they're their Audi when they get to the top.
right, but I think that's a good thing for them to figure out in the
They
next
might
season.
use that next season. Yeah, I was
Try
about
to
to say
figure
they
out how
might
to
use that
trick
next
the
season.
elevator or whatever to where
Right.
they don't know, or turn that device. Whatever, maybe they figure out how to turn the device off that I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah,
They probably
Like,
could have from
without
there.
them knowing, and so you go up the elevator and yeah. So yeah. Well, it's now this is all like they're gonna figure out how to try to escape, but they're gonna be tortured, and I bet we go to the next level of the break room.
You're gonna get
So
to
now
see that bad
you get
soap.
physically injured in the break room.
Bad-
Now
the
I
bad
did
soap.
see completely evidence of that with
what?
the hand. He goes. The scene where he switches with her, and he says I'm sorry, and then he
Yeah.
goes and grabs the door. It's like, and he's talking to the Alexa. Like it just switches to Audi Mark, and he's got bruises on his knuckles. So like. That was indicating to me that like there was
Something-
physical
yeah.
injury
Okay.
in the break room when you didn't mean it.
The next thing was Bert's retirement and Irving calling him a smug motherfucker. That was so great the way he said that.
It was.
He's like, "You're not severed."
It was, and if it was a Totoro, it was motherfucker.
Yeah.
He did not put an ER at the end of it. He's like, you smug motherfucker.
Did you catch the song, some of the lyrics of the song that was playing? It was,
No.
"Do you remember?"
Yeah, it was.
Little shits. If I could put that in there, because like, nobody's gonna remember this at all.
The smug, shitty exit video from
Oh yeah,
Bert?
from yeah,
Bert G.
yeah.
Like, he was
I'm
like,
sure you were all
"I
great, but
don't remember any of your features, any of you, or how many of you there even are.
but all of this.
And he said, "Bert, I see ya," and he pointed to the wrong direction. That was.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud when that happened. That's that dark comedy coming through,
Yes.
and he's just like, "I see ya."
Like,
But
now,
Bert
do
was
you
standing
think?
on the wrong side of the
Do you think that's the end of Christopher Walken in the show?
No.
Like, no season 2? You
No,
think?
I don't think so. He's
They
banging
might
on
have to
Bert's
show
door
him.
at the end.
Yeah, they might have to show.
Okay.
Still banging on
some-
Bert's door, and he was about to wake up on the front stoop, like, "What the fuck am I doing here?"
Yeah. But all of that storyline to me I would be fine if that was the end for him, because all of that was in place to get the company man, the companiest company man, to say, "Let's burn this place to the ground."
Burn this place to the ground. Dude, he delivered. I hate to keep harping on the performances, but they're so good.
Yeah.
that,
Good
that
actors.
subtle pan into him as his face changes and he's like comes to that realization, like right there on camera, and he's just like, "Let's burn this place to the ground." He just says it so matter of fact and
Yeah.
monotone. It was just like chilling, and then they all look and nod at each other. That's
And
a
I
great
think
scene.
They,
It
and I
really
think
is.
they setting us up. I think this is how they gonna have their
Cool.
departmental wars,
Yeah.
and they're gonna wind
Or
up
their-
hurting each other.
It feels like they've moved a level beyond that, though. The MDR workers, like by the end of the season,
They want to
they
unite. the
know
departments.
all kinds of stuff from the outside world now, and they know kind of a little bit of what's
Yeah, and I
going
think-
on.
and
Where they can
wanting
never
to
just go back,
I
right?
think wanting to go out, get out might be a cause of that.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. I just feel like this system. I wouldn't. If I was setting up a system to control humans, it would be multi-layered, multifaceted, and it would be a system that's so subtle that you would think that once you're free, and you're actually not.
No, I don't think they're free. There's
No,
so
what
many
I'm- but that's
consequences
what I'm saying.
that
I
we
mean,
got to talk about by the end.
And like even like speaking of which, like even the outside area in which these people live, I don't know if they didn't show Helly's house. They
No.
showed Bert's apartment. He lived in Leorna Apartments. I swear it was one of the names from the Egan's.
Oh, Lenora or something like that. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
I caught wind of that
So
too.
so
he's in company housing as
he's
well.
in company housing as well. Mark lives in Baird.
Yeah,
which
right
was
next
totally
to Cobell.
a right.
You
She
said a
lives there.
Lumen
So,
subdivision.
like you said, like they're in Lumen, and
But
then
look at how empty it is. Room for expansion. That's that thing I was saying about the
think so, too.
refining. It takes a bit, so they got to make them.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I think they died already.
You think they died already?
I think that first thing
See,
was
the only real evidence of that is of somebody being dead and coming back to life potentially is Miss Casey.
But
No, I wasn't talking about
we
them
don't-
coming
I'm
back to
gonna say
life. I mean, the
hearsay.
people that used to live in those houses and shit already died. I think
You mean
I don't
during
think,
the coup?
I think that coup was real. I don't think they did those things. I don't think they
Well,
brought
but
that shit up just.
those two don't necessarily they're not mutually exclusive. That could be them trying to repopulate, and it's just
Oh, no,
taking
they could-
forever.
Yeah, but I mean, you saying forever, but I mean, it could have been 3 weeks. We don't know.
So we're saying that Lumen.
No, what I'm saying is not like this is
Well, it
taking.
feels like Mark has been in that housing for a
He
couple
said
of years.
a couple years, but I mean, shit. How can he tell time? He don't know nothing. Mark crazy.
Well, his sister seems to be his anchor to the outside, to the real world.
I don't think she in the real world, bro.
So that's what. See, that's where he's saying is that
I'm
that
saying
outside,
none of
this
you
next
see
level of
is-
outside world
there is no
still,
outside.
Like
I'm
they're gonna
saying
open up and everybody in there is still severed, and there's
nobody.
A whole
There's no
life.
outside. To me, there's no outside. There's literally just different levels.
So then, what in that scenario? What could be the end game for our characters that we love? Like, there's not really an end game there.
The
though,
end
is
game
there?
is figuring out how to get to the final level. And
They got to get out of the Matrix
And
and
when
talk
they get
to
out the
the
Matrix, they realize they're on
inventor.
a spaceship and they've been abducted.
I'm done with you.
If any of the shows we watch end up as aliens.
Listen, don't hate on the aliens. The aliens brought us Velcro in the PlayStation 2.
Just the PlayStation 2. We took it and ran with it from there.
Now, I'm gonna be real with you. If those things are true, CIA, please, I was just fucking around. I was joking. I was spitballing and
So
guessing.
the last
CIA
thing from
isn't
the
awesome.
first one was
They the only ones watching this.
the last shit from the first episode was Mark coming back drunk, and like he acted like drunk Ben. He's great. I mean, he's a great drunk on camera.
He's so uncomfortable
Yeah.
and awkward.
But he rips up the
When
picture of
she
his
says-
wife, and then at the end he puts it back together, and that's our
that.
reveal on camera that that's Miss Casey.
Right.
That's his wife.
Right. Speaking. Am I going back to episode? Episode 7 was the one that started with Grainer dying and him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like that episode, that's where he goes back and like he's putting his clothes in the garbage bag and she comes down. She's like,
You walked out.
"Where were you?" He goes, "Who, me?
Yeah, who
What?
me?
What? No, the other fucking guy standing here in the kitchen.
Right.
You motherfucker! Yeah, I'm talking to you. Like, what
you-
are you talking about?
Yeah, what do you think? I didn't notice.
She's like,
You
oh
left
well,
for an
maybe you
hour?
just dreamt it. She's like, I've been awake for an hour and you weren't here. Like,
I heard the car. Yeah.
wait, no, it was so awkward and weird. And she's like, "Do you want me to leave?" And he's just like, "Maybe."
Yeah, and then she
It
bails
was so
pissed.
weird.
We get the first look at Irv's Audi. He's got a really clean apartment, but he's just obsessed with the painting. Like, so Jeremy and I were having a discussion earlier that we may have stumbled into something, and that being that, shit, what were we saying about the painting? Think about what
the way
he's
he's
painting
bleeding
with.
over. The way he's bleeding over, and he's painting the black hallway for the testing floor. It's like that's happening because he's falling asleep at work.
Like, could we see black goo when he
It's
falls asleep?
bleeding over because he's not supposed. That's not supposed to happen.
He's not supposed to sleep.
But he's staying up all night with the loud music. He's trying to fuck with his innie. I think.
But I think he might
keeping
be
himself
getting
awake
the
when the-
information from his innie
There it
via
is.
the sleep. Yeah, that's what he was getting to.
There it is.
Yeah,
No,
via the
I-
sleep.
I
He knows that if the guy falls asleep at work, he gets a little bit more
a little
whatever.
bit through whatever subconsciously or something like
Right.
I think he's doing it on purpose already.
that. Audi
Well,
Irvin.
Albert
Yes,
Irvin.
'cause he
So
had-
you saying he's already investigating? Why wouldn't he just quit?
Because why would he want to quit? He'd
He's
lose
trying-
all access.
No, I think if you
But
you
who
read
cares,
some of the
dog?
files that he had, it's like he was
Yeah.
doing a deep dive.
Oh,
Like,
he's actually just
he's trying to
investigating.
investigating the thing, and it's extremely difficult because his innie is a company man,
right.
Mm-hmm.
and
So
like
the sleeping is the
I'm
only
listening.
thing that's going to.
sure you are.
I'm dead ass listening. No, it makes perfect sense. I was just the obsession with drawing. It felt obsessive, drawing the same hallway over and over again. That's usually what people do, in like in movies when they.
But
go
why would he?
crazy.
But why would he know that hallway?
No, not just that he knows it. It's the fact that he keeps drawing it. Like,
Right.
like if I was like, I saw a symbol in my dream, it's haunting me. I'm gonna draw that bitch one time. I'm not gonna dedicate a wall to every night. I'm like, I gotta draw it again. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Is it possible he doesn't sleep because he's getting those bleed overs?
I think he's keeping his outie awake
Intentionally to get
intentionally
that.
to make
I'm
his
thinking the
innie fall
process-
asleep at work.
Right.
I think
So
the
he can
process
get whatever.
itself is triggering psychosis, which is making him stay up, which inevitably makes him fall asleep at work. And
Well, the loud music is the only clue to me that he's trying to keep himself awake.
yeah,
Playing a loud stereo.
But he's keeping himself. He's keeping
That would
himself
keep me awake.
woke. He's keeping himself awake, drawing the same thing. All I'm saying is not so much the
With a
investigation.
black goo.
The investigation part. I'm on board with that. I agree fully. What I'm saying is the act of drawing the same thing over and over again is what Hollywood uses to illustrate that somebody's losing their mind. You understand what I'm saying?
And so,
he could be investigating.
He could have been at this by quite some time now. They said he had been disciplined for dozing in the
Yeah,
past.
his happened before.
So like he's been doing this at
That's
this
what
for a
I'm
while,
saying.
and he's slowly losing
That's
his
what I'm
mind.
saying. He's losing his mind in the process.
Actually,
of doing that.
I kind of like that storyline. Like
So he might snap.
his
at
Audi.
work.
His Audi might have more information than everybody.
His Audi and his innie. His innie might know more.
But
'Cause
his
what
innie-
if the innie gets information from the Audi the same way as transfer? Because he's clearly receiving something. He's seeing the black paint.
Yeah, the black paint. But
know what I'm saying?
It's like it's just bits and pieces. It's not.
And I
like
think didn't he
full.
hear something before? He heard something as well. Irving. He heard some noise or something in the office. I'm not 100% certain, but I feel like he heard something. No, that was Dylan. He's saying he heard a voice or like a.
He heard a crying baby,
Right. Okay.
and she heard a mumbling old man or something.
She heard her
Oh,
dad.
we're
he heard
talking
his
about
kid.
in the break room. Yeah. One more thing to support they're refining people thing is that Helly was trying to finish the file, and then it cut to Milchick and Cobell, and she said, "Let's prep for if she makes it." So to me, that sounds like they're setting up something to be done that needs to be ready to go in case she makes it in time. Like, to me, that feels like another push in the direction of we got to load this carcass on the table or whatever. They're ready, that chip is ready to go in or something. Like, let's prep and get them ready for the surgery. Just in case she makes it. And if not, they'd be like, you didn't get the job.
Right.
Or something like that. Just kind of what I was thinking it was pushing towards.
Okay.
So that's where we got that weird Kier animation.
Yeah, super weird.
Now I must away.
Yeah.
And he flies.
He flies
That's
away.
amazing.
But first he says, I love you. Like he says it like
Weird.
yeah, super weird.
Mark gave the waffle party to Dylan. Can we discuss the waffle party? Do you remember the waffle party?
Was the waffle party when he bit Milchick?
No, the waffle party was the weird goat mask dancing.
The people dancing like seemingly in the same outfits from that painting.
Yeah, after it said go to Kier's bed, after
Remember the
he
painting
and put the
from
goat mask
from the
on.
wellness? The painting of the dude holding the whip over the person in the goat mask and the people that were dressed exactly like
Yes.
those people.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had the weird gesture mask on. They were dressed exactly like the people from that painting.
Okay.
Which
He had the weird mask on of the person that was standing above him with the whip. So that whole thing has something to do with that weird painting.
well, the weird paintings is just part of a cycle that happens over and over again. They're drawing what they remember.
Right.
Bert was definitely not drawing. He said they just pick. They don't. They don't create the paintings. They just pick them.
Right.
So what if there's a department who's literally just severed people just
So we're gonna
painting
call that
pictures?
painting the waffle party from now on.
The painting waffle party. Right. Yeah. That's what that one means to me now.
Hey, by the way, some dope ass looking waffles.
Yeah.
They looked like they weren't like quite like this big stupid like Belgian waffles, but they weren't like shitty Eggo waffles.
It looked
They
like
were,
Leslie Knope
like,
waffles.
They looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if you go home with a stomach ache that you didn't even earn? Slight taste of Belgian waffle in
Right.
your mouth.
Right.
Oh,
You
yeah.
better give them a
the
bunch of
elevator.
syrup options.
We had a
you know,
good
something
day
butter.
today.
Right.
Like I gotta go back tomorrow. Then you come back the next day with a black eye. Like what the fuck?
Right.
Little card on your car. Like yeah, you failed out a flight of stairs.
So quickly, they send Mark to wellness for his last session with Miss Casey, and she says she's bringing someone else in besides her, and there's a new wellness director immediately after this, and she's retiring. She said she's been alive for 107 hours, and her favorite was the 8 hours she spent in the department with them. She refers to them as the good old days. Like, how sad is that that's all she knows? She's 107 hours old.
Wait, but here, think about that. 107 hours. So let's break it down. A work day,
Half-hour sessions, though.
That's my point. That's exactly what my point
Yeah.
was. I was about to say
This
was
could have been over.
Normal work day is 8 hours. Some people go 10. So for 108 hours, that means she literally has been there. What would be the numbers on that?
What are you trying to work out? But here's what I'm saying.
200 something days if she went every single day and did a session every day.
Oh, you're saying one.
So that's
like
less than a year. That's less than a year. But if she did it like if you
But she
broke
could have
down
been doing it for the
weekends and all
past
that-
2 years.
But that's what I'm saying. If you broke down it, then yeah, you're looking at maybe 2 years then. So she
Miss
might have
Casey.
Miss Casey might have came to the company at the same time as Mark. Is my
Right.
point.
Yeah, and he refined. That's what my pitch there is, that he refined her in his freshman fluke, and then, but we were discussing her only being alive for 107 hours, and her favorite 8 were with them and that, and it was the good old days and etc. Because most times she's waking up for a half hour and then being put right back to sleep. So
She
she's
doesn't even know she has an Audi.
doesn't know if she has one. They tell her the Audi's happy,
Yeah.
so she
Probably
she
really
has
good
no
in bed.
Audi.
What was he doing? Sorry, I'm standing up because my ass is sweating. I don't want to sit in this chair anymore. He says like the things about his wife.
Mm-hmm.
He says them in the same way that what was it? That she says it to him in the wellness thing. The way she's like,
Yeah.
your Audi is affectionate. He like says a bunch of nice things about her in his Audi mark,
Right.
like in that same.
And they're throwing it
cadence,
back in the line. And
like,
that's
way
what.
that
But that's
he's like,
the
and she was
test.
wonderful, or she was great, or like, oh, my wife liked other people's dogs.
Right.
Like he says all this weird like little facts, and he's like, I loved all of this about her. Like he says it like she speaks to him in the wellness sessions.
Yeah.
So that's another bleed through.
They're checking to make sure it's not a bleed through. I think Cobell's giving her that shit to say because she knows that Audi Mark would say that stuff or has heard him say it or something like that to where
No, because she
she's
spoke to
testing
Irving
him.
like that too, in his wellness session. The same thing. She spoke the same cadence to him, to Irving.
I'm not saying the way she said it. I'm saying the stuff she was saying, telling him real things about the Audi to where to see if he remembers anything about it. Like you said,
fine.
putting the candle in there, that's a scent memory kind of
Right.
a thing.
But see,
mixed
I
with
like-
her saying real stuff about his
As
wife
far
or
as
whatever.
we can tell, none of the stuff that she said about Irving is true. She sat down to Irving and told him all those nice things about Irving.
that he's
Audi.
good to old people or whatever.
Right. And there was no evidence.
Well, we
of
didn't
that.
see it, right?
Right.
Yeah, but he probably been investigating for so long. He probably stopped doing the other shit.
Right, he probably just
all
got
that stuff
so wrapped into
maybe
it.
the other part was true. He just kind of got.
I'm just saying, I'm saying that the bleed through is the way she speaks to them. The way she's saying, your Audi is this. Your Audi is this.
Right.
He was doing the same thing. My wife was this. My
Right.
wife liked other people's dogs.
Right.
My wife loved this. I loved those things about
Yeah,
my wife.
talking to the.
I'm
doula.
saying that's a bleed through. The way
yeah.
that he's saying,
Oh,
listing those
him
things is a
regurgitating it
bleed
back
through.
the
out.
fact that he was
A slight
talking
bleed
like
through because of that way. That's the way she's saying it to him
Right.
in the thing. So he's
Subconsciously, he's spitting it back
Somehow
out in the
he's-
same
right,
cadence. I
right.
gotcha.
yeah, and the other bleed.
Well, his
through
mind
that-
is as sharp as Dylan's incisors as well.
And the other bleed throughs was the ones we was talking about in the break room when she heard her dad's voice and Dylan heard one of his kids.
You think those are bleed
I
throughs?
think it's bleed throughs. Yeah, you can't really fully delete a human, separate a human.
that's
mind.
where I think
that's
they're
the
even
premise
getting
of
at.
the whole thing.
The whole thing is that they
Is
can't.
that there's gonna
even
be
though
some
there's a
bleed
chip,
through.
there's there's proof of it in the show. Like there's bleed.
Yeah, they
like,
showed it-
They
they
showed
shown it
Irving
several
happening.
times.
They're showing it happening.
Right.
You know, like you can't perfectly do this. And the thing is it's hidden from the public. That part of it, like as far as the public knows, and we would know, like iPhones are great, but like, you know, deep down somewhere that like Apple's got a fucking secret that they're fucking tracking us all the time, listening to us. You know, it's the
Right.
same kind of idea. Like Severance is great, but there's all this underlying shit
Right.
They're not telling the public because they want to push it forward, but it's still not working quite
No,
right.
they're telling people that it's for one reason, and it's definitely for other reasons.
And they also tell them that the process is perfect and can't be reversed.
Right, and we know that it can.
Which is why I know. I'm telling you, Cobell. I think I'm going with double agent here.
Yeah, but see, I don't think she's on the same side as like Regatta.
She's not. Yeah,
She has her own motivations for doing
Right,
what she's
she's
doing.
not on. Clearly, she wants the system to stay up, which to me implies that she knows what happened the last time that some shit happened, and they might have had to get rid of a lot of people. There's somebody there she cares about.
Okay.
And it's definitely not Helly. She don't give a fuck about Helly.
No, she ends up getting fired over the Helly thing.
Yeah, she don't give a fuck about Helly.
The board finally answers her over the thing, so at least the board exists.
All right.
Like, or another person on the other end of a speaker. They're probably sitting on the other side of the doorway out of her office.
Right.
The floor above.
So, Irv smashed a deviled egg in the Egan Bible. Get it? Deviled.
I thought it was a great scene. So gross, but purple deviled egg, like the egg tray, like who
Yeah,
is that?
that's coveted AF.
Right.
Mark is scared about getting caught, and then Mark and Helly flirting a bit, like the easy to pretend to care about thing. Like, to me, what's the point of that? You're right in front of the camera.
I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. I'm trying to get
I forgot
into that
Jeremy's
thing.
not
You
in
gotta-
here yet.
You got to
Well,
open
it's
the door a
going to
little
create a
bit.
conundrum because he can possibly care more about Helly than he could his wife.
Did that do anything?
Mark S, like Audi Mark, will definitely care more about his wife, but any Mark is falling in love with Helly.
Any Mark doesn't know his wife.
But
Doesn't know the wife at all.
right, but any Mark is the one who discovered that she's alive.
Right.
So
Well,
now
he
he's
knows now.
Still
conflicted.
groundbreaking, earth-shattering fucking information either way.
Right.
You know? It's not like he would see that and be like, oh, I have to keep this a secret because I'm falling for Helly.
Yeah.
But this is a new thing they just started, but I feel like that's going to be a point of contention going forward is Mark S, any Mark S, and Helly being a thing, while Artie Mark S is going to be trying to get his wife back. It's going to cause another...
Well, we'll get to what people could have interpreted what he said to mean at the end too.
But see, that's what I mean. That sounds like a replay of the Cobell thing.
You mean
we just seeing it?
She's alive?
Yeah.
But we're seeing it from the beginning with Mark. Mark is going to have a reason to keep going back to that job. He needs to figure out what's going on with his wife.
Right.
I think Cobell is in the same boat. She's going to keep trying to be connected with this company because she's got some
going to
vested
rehire her
interest in it.
because of the the fact that she was trying to
No,
stop all of it.
she'll be back.
Nah,
Yeah,
I
for
want to
sure.
see Patricia Arquette with like black SWAT pants on and stuff, like running around the town doing all kind of intriguing stuff like that. That would be a dope ass season too. Nobody would like it. I would be the only fan of that season, but I would love it.
So I thought it was kind of interesting to think about repressed people like this, infants like that, when they read something like Rickon's book, that could really enlighten them and change their lives and the way
Well,
they
it
think about
was,
stuff.
too, and it was
They
like-
said our job is to taste free air, and they got that straight out of his book. I just think it's funny that of all things,
Right.
yeah.
It's that dumb book. Mark said it. It changed my life. It changed my whole life.
Right, so they kiss, Helly and Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was kind of, I don't know. I don't care about that. I don't want them to be a thing.
I do.
You want Helly
I
and
think
Mark?
it's going to create a
There's gonna be some
weird
tension
thing.
there, and
But that's manufactured drama to me.
not really, because that happens in real life. People meet somebody at
Yeah.
work, and I think that goes along with the theme of what they're doing.
Oh, I
anyway.
see. They made
They're
somebody
doing
at
that-
work, so
right. They
yeah.
meet somebody at work, and they I think that goes along with the overall theme, which is like this is a mirror to corporate America. So
And it's different because you can root for both people.
Right.
yeah,
You can root for Helly and Mark at the same time.
And hate Helena and, well, not Mark.
Well, I'm saying, but Mark S. and his wife. Like, you can root for
Right.
both of those things to happen. And maybe
be
they
fair.
find a medium where they both separately live their lives somehow and are happily ever after. I don't know if that's
But
like
to
how
me,
the show's
it's
going to end. but-
at the moment, any Mark is the only one that knows that she's alive, that his wife is alive, that he doesn't even know.
Right.
He doesn't know
And
her.
he didn't say my wife is alive.
Right. That we'll get
He
there. We're
just said she's
we're
alive,
almost
right?
there. Yes.
And then he was like,
Then it was out. Cobell ranting and crying in the car just was not believable at all. It seemed so forced. She was just screaming and like really
About being
childish.
fired?
But yeah, it didn't. It just didn't ring to me. For everything
It did
else
to
she's
me
done.
because of the way that she had that stupid
She yelled at Mark.
Shrine.
Oh, that thing.
Well, how she gets about Kier. She gets really weird about that.
Okay.
And the following of Kier, she had that whole shrine. And if you paid attention, like when she tears up that shrine.
Yeah, she rips down her 9 words posters.
Yeah, but dude, they're like all like.
She's being Godzilla for
but
her
they're-
diorama, I wrote
But they're
down.
all made like a little kid would make a craft.
Right. And it
Right.
showed that one about the school
Yeah.
that she went to. So
Right.
that was probably something to do with that. Dylan bails on the dance thing. Mark ends up inviting Selvig to his sister's party. Like, we're just teeing up the final episode here. He locks the door with his belt, and, you know, for some reason he requests a glass block with all 4 of them on it. Why that? Like, to one-up Mark for having one that's only himself? You know, like, it feels like he's real competitive like that, with, like, the finger traps and all that shit.
But I think that like the having the kid thing and finding that out and realizing that this shit in here doesn't matter anymore to him.
Okay, and then the last thing from this episode, there's 2 screenshots that I grabbed. One was the general system functions. One was admin mode, directory mode, view mode, manage mode. Like the...
Yeah, why wouldn't admin and manage mode?
And then once it went down, it said Beehive, branch transfer, so they could go somewhere else potentially. Beehive sounds like they make them all into one or something.
Yeah, a bunch of drones.
Clean slate, which sounds like they could reset them when they come back down. Elephant, which could make them remember something that they potentially aren't supposed to remember. Like, if they need them to know a piece of information, they might be able to turn on elephant mode and then they remember everything.
Nice.
Freeze frame.
That's what the therapist that's what Mark's wife is.
And then Glasgow.
So you think they just put her into freeze frame mode?
Yeah, she
She
probably
just goes black until they wake her up.
Potentially, yeah. Uh-huh.
So they have to preserve her body somehow with nutrition and whatnot like that. Like if she just doesn't leave the outside world and eat and whatnot, she has to be given some sort of food and water
Right.
to stay healthy,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, they must put her on some, you know, like
Right.
a IV drip or something like
but
that.
It has to be more than that, or else she wouldn't be like up walking around,
Right.
like, and feeling okay.
Exercising wise
Right.
and
She has
muscle
to have-
atrophy.
Right.
So the end of the episode is him saying he doesn't think he needs Severance anymore to Miss Cobell as Audi Mark. And she's like, get away from them. And then he pulls the switches. And then, so that's where the start, like where he fucking changes, when they change personas, astonishing acting on all of their parts.
Yeah.
What? I don't know what's
switch my
happening.
camera off.
Off?
Yeah.
Let me see here. There we go.
I'm dying in this motherfucker.
Oh, you're just trying to fan? I see it in my camera, though.
It's
No,
fucking
I'm just
getting
kidding.
bad.
We're almost done. I mean, the one that I wanted to talk about was this one, really. Like, the finale is one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen. I've watched it
I
3 or
agree.
4 times,
It's
and, like,
fantastic.
I agree
I felt
wholeheartedly.
things at the end of it that I don't feel watching TV. Like, we watched that whole season of From. At no point did I feel
Never.
anything like the tension in this episode. And
No.
And be clear.
And they have, like, zombie
These are
things.
2 stories that are both in that first season. One of them did it exactly correctly.
right.
Are you talking about From and Severance?
From and Severance.
Yeah.
They're both in the first season, so there's no, like, we were 3 seasons in and we ran out of ideas. This is the start.
They did some really cool shit during the 7 and 8 with camera work and stuff like that. I
Yes.
just wanted to quickly point out before we move on.
That hallway thing?
Where, yes, they did it 3 or 4 times during the episode where they would like fade to like white almost, but then you could still kind of see the camera moving, and then it would like go out into like another hallway, and
Yeah.
they're like walking. It was really cool transition.
Like Milchick walks out of frame this way, and then he comes in on the other side when they just pan around. It was really cool.
the camera work, the audio,
The music,
way-
the score.
transitions in this final episode.
Oh my god, the
Dude,
transitions were
I'm telling
stunning.
You, like, there was some of like the best work you'll
when Mark
see.
grabs the picture and turns to run out, and then it gets to Irving getting out of the car.
It's
Same motion.
It's crazy, dude. Like,
Yep.
and there's the one where it like goes to like that frame, and then they like walk through the doorway. Like the one where we were sitting there watching, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
Like I said, I was like, wow, it's like, wow, that was cool as shit.
Yep.
The camera work, the just the way they use that like weird sound
Yeah.
effect to transition between the characters some of the times, like it was.
Right.
I mean, it was absolutely brilliant. Like the whole thing was absolutely brilliant.
So why
I want to add a lot to this conversation. I agree.
Right.
the people that we hate at the party, that dude and the girl that were sitting there waiting and talking to Mark after he's trying to get his bearings, where Mark did that weird thing with the our baby thing. He was grasping at straws, and you got to
Yeah,
give him
he
a
was
shot.
guessing.
You got to
He
give him
was
effort
guessing.
for guessing
was
so
guessing.
overtly. Our baby. But when they came out, or when he came out and they were talking to him, why would they give a shit if Devin introduced the baby at the event? Like, he's like, oh, I just, don't you think she should have waited till
Because
after the event?
There's such fucking spazzes and fans of this schmuck, Rickon,
Okay.
that's more important. Is him reading his book for the first time in front of them is way more important than her having her kid. They don't give a shit.
I like the expression on Rickon's face. Let me just say this: as he's reading a passage from the book, the parent, like he's almost overcome with emotion, almost in his face. He looks actually stressed out about what he's reading. He's taking his
was
own
telling-
work so serious. It's so.
I was telling him, like, I was like, the guy's made for you to like kind of hate him, but I don't hate him. Why do I not like hate his guts?
'Cause
It's
he's
so
not
like
the-
it's so like stupid. But you can see some like sometimes you can see like the real come out of him a little bit.
Well, when any Mark was talking to him and was telling him how much his book changed his life, and he's
Right.
like, "Yeah, right," you know. But
He's
once
like- but what he
once
said
he
was-
realized he was serious,
But what he said to him was important, I think, because Jeremy and I had a discussion about what he meant. He said, I am fully aware of how I am perceived by you,
how I
Yeah.
come off to
how
you,
I come
like
off
that.
to you. But to him, not necessarily, because he was saying at first, like, oh, well, maybe that means he's self-aware. But I think he was meaning specifically to Mark. He's like, I
Yeah.
know that you
he
think
was
I'm a
saying
tool.
Mark. When he was saying Mark, the real Ali Mark,
But like how
doesn't-
how he could even just be even perceive that his behavior could be perceived as
yes.
toolish.
Yeah.
Is like
That's
it's-
self-awareness
it's
to a degree,
self-awareness to a
yes.
degree.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, but the redemptive part that you was talking about is when he saw that any Mark was being sincere. He's still looking at it like this is Ali Mark, and he was genuinely like he really needed to impress his brother-in-law. He really wanted his approval.
Yeah.
I think he does.
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Right.
So yeah, I thought that was
He, think
that was cool.
he loves Mark as family.
Yeah, right.
I
He
don't
even
get the impression that-
apologized.
He
like,
said,
he's like, I'm
well,
sorry for
even
being
when he
hard
was
on
like,
you about Severance.
when he was like about the book, when he was like when he was purging secrets, and he was like, "Here's a secret. It's been 5 days since I dropped my book, and I haven't received a phone call from you. 5 whole days." Like he was bothered that Mark
Yeah.
didn't call him to
Right.
thank him for the book.
And
I feel
when
like-
his wife told him, when he dropped it off, and she was like, "You got to walk it all the way up to the," and he was like, "Yeah, you know," he was really
Right.
enthusiastic about that. I
Yes.
want to impress this dude. You
So
know?
I think he does either look up to Mark or looks for his approval in some way, shape, or form, as far as being married to his sister or just as a friend, and
Right.
you know.
It's kind of like what Jeremy did with Joel.
Right.
Yeah.
He said the
know, I
bell.
wasn't
You can't
there.
unring the bell ringing app. When he said that, ridiculous. I mean, just so dumb.
But the opening passage of his book, dude.
Oh my God, the Mozart
write
thing.
that
Fuck
down?
off. It was like, it is.
It's
It
so
said
funny.
that. What is it?
It said-
Mozart killed a kid by smashing his head in the piano. Turns out by my research that that's not true.
Yeah.
As your heart stops from fluttering, or
Right.
something like that, as your pulse
But he said you
calms
can't
down.
unring the bell ringing app.
But he said he made up a story that was not true and then dispelled it and acted like, whew, everybody
Right.
take a minute with that
I took you
information.
guys on the roller coaster, but no, I like that you can't unring the bell ringing app, because what that's saying is the same thing as you can't unring the bell, obviously, which is like Pandora's box is open now. The Audis are. This
The
is
innies
the
have been
episode
out.
where
That's
the
a very-
innies are getting
I
out.
put
You
those two
can't
together
stop.
like that.
That's nice.
Yes, the
I like it.
process
Can't
is started.
unring the bell.
You can't
Uh-huh.
stop it now.
Right. But potentially they can with the wipe.
Right.
Well, we'll see what happens.
What do we think any Mark is thinking about Cobell being there when he switches to an Audi?
Well, I just
Nothing
don't think
much. He just asked.
don't think
he was
he-
like, "Why is Miss Cobell here?"
right. So like
No, but in that, like, the second he wakes up, he's facing his boss
right.
in a different look, and
He
she's
probably thought he wasn't
interacting
going
with-
nowhere. He was like,
Yeah,
wait a
like
minute,
I just mean, like, how fucking weird would that have been? Like, of all the people that he could have been staring in a hug with when that occurred,
And he didn't really react.
he
in any
didn't
way.
really react. He
Like,
just
why
kind
are
of was
you
like,
here?
huh, moved
I
on.
had to watch
did.
that. I had to watch that again. Did he tense up a little bit? when
Oh, he
backed
definitely
up?
because he was Annie Mark, and Annie
Yeah,
Mark
that's what
is
I'm
tense
saying.
and scared about what they're
Well, what I'm
doing.
saying, did he tense up upon looking at her face?
No,
Dude,
I
that
don't
was,
think
it was really
so.
strange because he didn't, like, now that I'm thinking about it and we're walking through it, he didn't react to her like he, like,
you should be like, "What the hell are you doing
what are you
here?"
doing here?
Well, first of all, he wouldn't because she's an authority figure, and he also looks for her approval. So,
But he
just
didn't
waking
seem
up
like he was in
waking up in that
trouble.
hug. He
Right.
probably that's
Like,
my
wouldn't
point.
that have been his first thought? Is
waking up
I'm
to
in
that-
trouble.
Shit.
No,
we
waking
were
up to
supposed
that
get
hug
caught.
would probably be like, oh shit, I'm getting hugged. What did I do? I did something good.
I
He
didn't even
probably,
requisition this.
Right, you know. The fucking requisition of the handshake,
But the
bro.
thing is
Yeah.
like, yeah, but still, you know,
Crazy.
this is bothering me now
Yeah.
because he totally would have, like, they were trying not to get caught.
Yes.
By the,
Did they
like,
know
basic-
Selvig got? Or did they know Cobell got fired? I don't think so.
But still,
I don't think they did. Yeah.
still, like, it's still, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yes, that's my point. Like,
Holy shit, we're caught.
yeah, it's
Game
over.
Fucking
Oh,
over. Or just
God.
woke up right in front of fucking Miss Cobell. Or was it like he woke up and realized, holy shit.
She must know me on the outside. Like, it's
I
just
had-
such a weird first
Yeah,
thought.
but maybe he was smart enough to go, okay, I still have to act like Audi Mark.
Right.
I still have to contain the situation.
So she
because-
must know
But,
me.
like, the
But,
fact
yeah.
that he didn't react at all to her being there until he was like, oh yeah, wait, why is my boss here?
Yeah.
Hmm.
See, that makes me think that that's the
But
flippancy is
wasn't
kind
there-
of how she was too.
Wasn't that like a plan? I mean, not a plan. I'm sorry. Wasn't the question when he asked? He didn't just flatly ask why is Miss Cobell here. He ask like, are we friends or some shit like that? Or do we hang?
No, I'm saying like that later on during that conversation, like they had the whole talk where he told his sister.
He said, "Are
was
we
in
close? I want to."
Conversation because he was kind of like, oh yeah,
And what's she
why is
doing
my
here?
boss here? Like it was like it was like no big deal. Like it was weird.
Because you don't. Because I mean, realistically, you don't know who's who when you come out.
Fair
so
enough.
She could very well. Everybody, Mr. Milchick, everybody could all be friends outside of the job. They could walk to the parking lot together,
But
and
they
go
know-
in 15 minutes apart or whatever. You don't. They don't know. The Indies
Right.
don't know anything.
Fair
That's
enough.
kind of the basis of it.
But was he smart enough to like keep his cover?
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, he pulled it off for a bit, anyways. What's her name? Helly hasn't seen the card walls yet, but they look like we were saying,
The mouth wall.
Cards Against Humanity, or Apple boxes or something. You know, like
Just
it just
a
looks like
right-
the
real, like,
simplicity.
simplistic design.
Mm-hmm.
That was an interesting scene because that's where they go, where she's standing in that room for like a while, like having conversations with different people and engaging, and like all of those things are blurred out behind her.
Right.
And it's constantly moving around to these other people and showing those things, but you can't see them.
Right.
And then it says something about who are you.
Yeah, and then it
And she,
opens
like,
it up to
backs
her.
and it's fucking. And it was like, oh shit, like because
Uh-huh.
that was the opening line to the show with her laying on the table was who are you.
Mm-hmm. Who are you?
And like, boom, who are you? Here's what you are. You're the sales pitch for
Right.
Severance. Like, dude, it was pretty. That was pretty awesome. Like, I thought that was a cool tie-in to the very first opening scene.
Right.
Was who are you? Here's the answer.
Yeah.
Right.
We're showing you who you
Yeah.
are, or at least
Right.
who that version of the innie
Right.
is. Well, except they're framing it differently to make it like Milchick's been taking those pictures that whole time for this.
Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of
Right.
weird too.
Because the one of her
pictures from
sitting in the
office.
chair smiling right
Right.
before the surgery, he went up and snapped that. We saw it in the show.
Right.
So Irving has seemingly been plotting against Lumen for a while, as we said. His box wasn't very secret if he found it that quickly, right? Like his little hidden double,
Right.
a false bottom box. Like he fucking stumbled into that in seconds. Like you're not real. I mean, I guess he had the key still, but like it was like, yeah, it's not that secret if you found it that quickly. Yeah, like you said, Mark ends up moved by the reading, and Rebecca said she might have to change her name again, confirming that they all changed their names to like Rickon, Rebecca. Like she's like, I may have to change my name again after it's transformative after the first reading for the first break.
Yeah.
So that to me
was the
means,
chubby chick.
yeah, that just means they've all been changing their names to for whatever reason. Like
They're all
I think I
dummies.
figured out why James Egan is James instead of James, and it's related to that Parks and Recollection podcast. Remember when they were talking about clearing names?
Yeah.
They were saying that if they want to use a name, like say they wanted to use James Egan, apparently Egan is a real last name because it capitalized it when I typed it.
Right.
So James Egan, if there's between 1 and 5, you can't use the name in the area that you're
The name has to be
fictitiously
very
locating it.
common. The name
It has to either be very common or nobody has it.
Right.
So 1 to 5 is that range that you can't use it. So I'm thinking there must have been 1 to 5 James Egans.
Yeah, and that
where they just went,
also
let's just make a
taking
James.
the S off of it is also makes it kind of weird and kooky.
Right.
So that helps.
Like Rebecca or Rickon.
They severed the name a little bit. Let's see.
It's almost over.
We get the first tease of a picture with Rickon telling him, "Oh, I got a picture of the 4 of us when we went on that hike." And you're like, "I was dude." At that point, the first watch, I'm like, "Come on, man, you've got to see this
And he
picture."
reaches for his pocket, like he has it in his pocket,
Or on his
He's
phone
"Here,"
or something.
or something.
Yeah.
He's gonna show him,
And then he gets
He
distracted.
gets distracted and walks away.
Uh huh.
Sorry.
So yeah, this is where Cobell, that whole thing, we already talked about that. I just wrote down, makes no sense. Why did she stay? I'd accept she doesn't work there. She's used to hearing him call her that name, so it took a minute to sink in, but I don't buy she knew in that moment and just hung out until Devin gave her the baby to create a panic. Like, she didn't need to create a panic on the way out, with the
I
baby
don't think
thing.
she did the panic thing on purpose.
No,
I think that was all an afterthought. I think what really happened. First of all, I don't even really think it's that consequential, but I think
That she
the way-
stayed after he called her Cobell? You don't think
I
that
don't think
matters?
It's consequential because right then they didn't want her to run out because then your attention goes because they still would have had to show him calmly telling his sister that he's any Mark and all.
No, I'm
that.
not saying freak out in front of Mark.
No,
I'm saying
yeah.
she should have, as soon as Mark walked away there, she should have left.
Oh, I know. I get what
discreetly.
you're saying, but what I'm saying is, I actually think that thinking from that perspective,
You think if she left,
I
Mark
think
would
she
notice?
really was trying to see, is this really him? That's all. I just think she was just really
want
trying to see.
more confirmation.
She just kind of wanted to stick
Okay.
around. And then also remember, this chick likes breaking into people's houses, taking shit. She might have left the baby, but she might have taken something else from the house. She might have not just walked out
You're right, her
instantly.
level of- I see where he's coming from.
Like, 'cause
The
this-
her level of panic.
Selling it
But
in the
she
car.
has been doing that this whole
You're
season.
going to have to, at least, no, you don't have to sit.
She
but
has been doing that. this whole
Freaking
season.
out?
That I'm super calm right now, but
Yeah.
we serve here, you child.
Yeah,
Right.
like
that
when
weird,
she
like,
told
so
Mark,
she just stayed super
I'm
calm.
gonna split your head or some shit, and then she was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't want to have to talk to you like that." You know what I'm saying?
She threw the
Instantaneously.
coffee mug at.
Yeah.
Yeah, she threw the right. She
Yes.
threw the mug at her, and then she instantly
What I just did
calmed
there
down.
pained me.
Right.
She
Right.
instantly calmed down. Like I said, I think the bitch crazy.
So the rest of the heli thing we can talk through. She's walking through her exhibit, and Helena is saying the workers are their family as an Egan.
She was meeting herself for the first time, and the self that she met, she really didn't like,
Right.
which was
Well, it was.
how do you
Helena
maintain
thinks severed jobs are awesome.
how do you maintain your individuality in the face of learning that you are the actual enemy? They did this in a movie before. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger, Total Recall. This is the same dynamic. Remember when they showed
Spoilers.
Quaid?
I
Really?
just downloaded
Really?
that.
But remember they showed Quaid the video of himself, and he was the actual bad guy. He told him, I created you.
Right.
I made you think that this life was yours and all this. This was all a setup. I worked for, this
Right.
guy and all. So, yeah, and he had to come to a decision that he was going to try to maintain the personality or the life that he currently knew. But, yeah, this is interesting that I really just thought about that. But, yeah, they really are running out of ideas, but still, I like this one. That's no strike against it, but it's definitely a total recall.
When she went in the bathroom, did you notice the figures on the door? They looked like up and down arrows for the elevator with a little dot above them.
And people not severed.
No, for men and women, it was just like the arrow that you would see above and like up and down
It was
on an
like
elevator.
A triangle for the man. It was an upwards triangle
With
with,
a
a
dot,
circle at the
yeah.
top. The triangle was flipped with the circle at the top for the woman.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is you think that's what it's for, men and women. I'm saying, what if those bathroom doors is for severed and unsevered?
It's on the main level of Lumen. I don't
It
think
was
they
during the
would
gala. It was
acknowledge
the
that up there.
bathroom that-
I didn't even catch it was happening at Lumen until the last watch just now. Like when she drives up there, I forgot
she was
that she
driving
was
to the
going
Lumen
there to the
building.
gala as opposed to going to Lumen.
So it's at the Lumen.
So it's
at
there
at
on the
Lumen
main
building.
floor, it appears like.
Yeah,
so they
alright.
wouldn't have that on the main level, I wouldn't think. The
I think
severed,
so.
unsevered.
They can do the severed and unsevered.
Well, because wait a
out
minute,
in
she
the
walked
town.
into one that had guy and girl on it.
I'm saying it was a gender neutral bathroom.
Okay.
And they also had, I don't know.
But I like that. That could still apply there.
I
It
think
could
it-
be a severed only bathroom.
Yeah,
but
because you
that
don't
would
know what the
imply
other
Jaime
severed,
Egan
but we
is.
also don't know what the other severed floors do or where they're located.
He asks Helena if she's in pain, and I was confused at first, but that was about the hanging.
Right.
I thought it was like she was being so different to him because it was Innie Helly and she didn't have any of the experience of knowing who this guy was or what their relationship is. I thought it was something like that where like normally she'd be agonizing in pain and she does that to separate from it, but we just saw her talking on the thing. So
Right.
he says
Yeah, 'cause
the
she thought it was
grandfather.
freaking awesome.
He said the grandfather would be proud of you, would cherish what you've done. The grandfather as opposed to your grandfather or my grandfather. It's
Grandfather
strange.
is a title or not.
And he asked her to sit with her at his revolving. So, what do we think revolving is? We may as well take a stab at it now before we move on to the next season. Revolving is. We had talked about potentially it being them doing like a Miss Casey situation, but putting a backed up consciousness into that to bring somebody back from the dead. Like maybe that's what Cobell was trying to do with Miss Casey. She was testing it out and then going to put somebody in her or something. I'm don't know. Thoughts on I'm thinking it's ending up in that library.
all of
people.
the right the wax museum.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm thinking the revolving is.
Okay, so yeah, and if you look at it, all of those people,
Yeah, they died when they.
and they looked very different from one another. There wasn't a lot of family resemblance
Right.
amongst the.
The
Didn't
Egans.
really
The
think
Egans.
about that.
So, and that dude has a very distinct look, that Jaime Egan or whatever, right?
Right.
So like, and then the founder kind of looked like him a little bit with the beard, but other than that, like, the one that said Pip was like a bald guy and he had like a monocle and
Right.
shit. Like, they were all very different, distinct looking people that
Okay.
didn't like have a lot of family resemblance.
Interesting. I never even thought
So
of that.
like, yeah, like what you're saying could be true. Like these people could be bodies that the one founder has
Oh,
been loaded
keeps-
into
yeah.
every time. And
Yeah,
it's
it
the
could be
same guy.
that, where
It's
that's
like
him.
he's
The
been living
revolving is to
forever.
go into her or something next.
Yeah,
Potentially.
because there's been women.
Sit at me with my. I want you to sit with me at my revolving.
So
Maybe
that,
that's to
she's
go to
gonna
her.
become the next CEO.
Miss Casey.
Yeah, which is probably
Well, I'm saying that doesn't make as much sense as his own daughter being
Him transferring it to his own daughter,
transferring the consciousness to the daughter.
yeah. I mean,
who's
I get
been
it, but,
severed. But maybe you're not
Right.
allowed to be severed if you're the founder or you're the
I'm
person
saying
in
that's
charge.
that's the chip is the way in. The chip
I
is
see.
the way to do the consciousness
The
transfer.
Trojan horse.
Okay. Yeah. The bathroom mirror apology was perfection. Like the fact that she remembered it, she had said it 1,000 times or whatever. But when she did the break room apology to herself in the bathroom mirror because she realized what Audi Helena had done,
Right.
like telling the dad, "Oh, everybody should get one of these, Daddy," and then now look at the state of society.
Right.
Like she did it to herself, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry," but genuinely meant it. We were talking about the soundtrack. The little it sounded like almost like a TikTok was going as they were out on the
The
outside.
music definitely gave you a sense of
Like,
like,
we need to
this is
hurry
the
up.
clock is fucking ticking, right?
Devin is blown away by what Mark had to say. Wanted to know why he put himself in there, obviously because he lost Gemma. He went back to teaching 3 weeks after she died. Then he went severed. They were all really close, etc. Then they figure out that he tells her about my boss, and she goes looking for the baby.
Wait a minute.
We said something.
Pause,
Yeah, go
pause.
ahead. Sure.
What if Mark went in there and took that job at Lumen for the same reason? What if Mark actually did? He was just telling them, "I'm taking the job so I won't have to think about her," but he actually trying to find his wife in there.
Audi Mark didn't seem to have any inclination that his wife was anything but dead.
Yeah, but that's what he's saying to people.
But
What
would he
would
be?
be-
But he's getting
I'm
interested
just trying
in
to
the
change
PD
his
stuff.
possible
I get it.
motivation. Is what I'm saying. It's like maybe a lot of people. Well, that's too many. That's too many spies at that point. So that would be kind of hokey. It's
Right.
like everybody that works there is a spy,
Right.
but none of them don't know it. That would be fucking funny though. If everybody that worked there was a spy, but once they're in there, they don't recognize it.
I'm so annoyed. Like an hour ago, we were talking about something, and we said something about the guy, the black guy and the girl that stopped Mark when he comes out of the room, thinking it was she was
Yeah.
his sister. The dumb guy that just I thought I had some connection to why he said, "I'm the one who found the
Found
baby."
that baby. Just me, only me.
Yeah, I had a thought on that, but I lost it now.
Listen, I'm the only one who can find babies. In the future, if you looking for a baby, you gotta go to me. You-
Right.
That was a weird. That was some weird shit.
Mark out of the way.
He literally
it was
pushed Mark
weird.
out
It
of the
wasn't like
way.
a shove, but he was like he pushed his way past.
It was
him,
almost
like-
childlike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was very childish.
So it's a very, very childlike.
Damn it, dude! I had something that I
How a
connected.
kid would treat
I just,
their
I
that,
promise
right.
you, I promise you, they're not out of this system, bro. Everybody in this town, everybody on the show so
I
far
I'm not
have
gonna
been
write
in this
that off
system.
at all. Like the whole,
Right.
like this whole town is under.
Realistically,
Right.
outside, I
Severance.
think I remember seeing a news segment, but I think that was more about PD.
No, they were talking about Severance.
They
were
talked
just-
about Severance,
they were just
not on the
arguing about
news
it.
Severance, not on the news segment. They was talking about Severance on one of those pundit type shows where they had her on the representative on
Yeah.
there arguing with somebody. But I mean, an actual newscast where they just talking about
Oh,
facts.
like
And
the
I remember,
Severed Man, found,
I think they talked about PD on there. But outside of that, do we really? They don't really talk about anything outside of Severance or this town.
Right, we don't know the scope of.
We don't like. We
No,
haven't
I'm
seen
saying
anything like what's going on in
that-
China, what's going on in Russia. You know what I'm saying?
That's where I was saying they need that pullback shot.
Are the
Right.
Or
Vietnamese
whatever it
working
might
on
be.
Severance or something? You know what I'm saying? We don't know
Right.
what this world is. They could still be aboard a simulation on a spaceship.
So Helly goes up on.
Oh,
she's
you
about
kicked
to
off
go
my
on
whole
stage,
podcast.
and what's her name? Cobell shows up and tries to stop her, and she's like, "I'm gonna burn your company, or I'm gonna destroy your company." She's like, "It's your company,"
Yeah.
and then she goes on stage and does it anyway. But I don't. People laughed when she said the first thing,
Yeah.
Right.
and like I don't know that she had enough time to convince those people.
Well,
mean-
before Natalie tackled her.
Yeah,
Yeah, because Natalie was sitting there and she kind of laughed it off too at first, but then she looked at her like, "Oh shit!"
yeah.
And then went and tackled her when she was like, "They
Right.
torture us, they do that, you know."
Uh-huh. So that was the end of her stuff. Irving makes it to Bert Goodman's house. But he had a list that showed his last name is Bailiff,
Right.
which I didn't know if there was any relevance to that, like in a court. The bailiff. Probably nothing there. So he sees Bert is clearly into dudes on the outside as well. He even has a type. He even had a mustache, I think, like
Right.
Irving did. And then he decides to go up to the door after being
He
crushed.
thought about it for a second.
He did. He
was
wasn't gonna
like,
do it.
it's
He
not
was
even
crushed.
worth it. This man got a life out here, whatever. Then after he was like, man, fuck that. I love
Yeah.
Christopher Walken, and I'm gonna
And then
touch my hand.
Then we get Dylan and Milchek. Milchek finally gets the call from Cobell, runs there, and cuts.
Also cool.
Oh, dude,
camera
the running.
transitions when he's running through the
It
hallways.
was just going like this,
The camera
yeah.
was kind of going like
I
this.
love that the hallways are purposefully confusing and long and unnecessarily
It was one
Yeah.
of the
like
first things I
the-
liked about the show.
the,
was
like
the weird
the
walk. they
but
took
you
when
you
they
kind of
first got
almost
there.
feel like the build. Remember, I told you my first impression was that the building was somehow alive. So I felt like the hallways being like that was maybe a part of like
There's
fucking with the
clearly
people that work there.
directions, and
But there's
They clearly
Yeah.
memorized. how to
Milchick
get
was
to the
running
shit.
through this bitch for like an hour and a half trying to get down this hallway.
Right.
It's like what the hell?
So he tries to bribe him with koozies, paintball. He's like, I want
He
to
said
remember
he
my
was gonna-
fucking kid being born. Like that was amazing.
He said you got others.
He goes, you got
others.
two more I could tell you about
And
them.
he
Do that, and
started
also-
thinking. He stopped. Dylan stopped for a second. He was like,
Oh my God, the glasses the whole time.
Well,
"Oh yeah."
that
Like
shot
that.
of
Because he
Milchek.
couldn't. He didn't have time to
Well,
readjust. He
just
couldn't-
keep in mind, Dylan did this the whole
That's what I'm
episode.
saying. He couldn't adjust. He had to stay
Right.
still.
When he said that to him, I want to remember my fucking kid being born. The
Right.
way he screams, it gave me like goosebumps.
Right.
But then they cut to that shot of Milchek, his eye through the door,
Yeah.
and you can see that thing in his eye, and he's like, "You have two more." Like it's just the fucking
The kinda
that guy's a
evil-ish,
good
yeah.
actor, man. Milchek's a good. He does the facial
Yeah.
expressions,
And that's
shit.
why he's the
killing
creepiest
it too,
motherfucker
man.
on the show.
And and he's like, you can see his like eye like moving, and you can see his like shaking because he's
The
trying
whole
to cut
time
the
he's
belt.
cutting the shit out of his
Dude,
dick.
it's fucking
Yeah.
great scene.
Negotiating
man.
from weakness in that
Yes,
situation.
yes.
So it all
He
basically.
almost got him for a second though.
half a second.
But for a second, he was like,
Right.
"I got other kids."
His
Right.
first response though is something about Dylan G. Refiner of the quarter. He's like, "Fuck you, Mr. Milchek." Like, just fucking played out.
Yeah, it was so good.
Right.
He is gonna feel the bad soap in season 2.
So that ends with him eventually getting in and killing the switch right as Mark finally sees the picture, runs out there and goes, "She's alive," holding the picture.
Right.
But my worry is that they showed Devon for a split second there, and her reaction did not, to me, take in what he just said. It was like he was talking about the baby.
Right.
Well, she had the baby.
Exactly. But
See,
there's
to me, and Devin is the type though that
I'm
is
hoping
like,
that it goes
she's
that
a
she
su-
knows.
She's a super skeptic, dude. Devin is like,
Yeah.
as a character in general.
Yeah.
She listens to her husband or whatever, but she doesn't really buy all that bullshit.
Yeah.
'Cause she's like, she's the what in the fuckity fuck like that
Right.
type. Like her, you can tell like that she has that kind of like
She's like Mark in a way.
sense of
Yeah,
humor, kind of a darker sense of humor, like a little bit of more realistic way of looking at the world than the frilliness
Right.
that Rickon looks at it with.
I think Mark is gonna figure it out anyway.
But I'm saying like
Any Mark knows.
So
No,
for,
I'm saying
like her
Ali Mark is
reaction,
gonna figure
I
out.
think her reaction would have totally been like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like right away, like. But then,
But he's holding the picture and he doesn't know why.
But that's my point. I'm telling you,
well,
when he
Audi
said,
Mark is now holding the picture.
that's one point. That's
think
why
it
he's
goes-
gonna figure it
just
out. Because
goes
when
black.
his sister be like, "Who's alive? What are you talking about?
it
She's
just goes
alive."
black
gonna
after
think about
that,
it for a
after
little
the
while.
switch, doesn't it just go to dark after that?
You hear it. You hear it ding. Somebody's arriving on the floor. Like you heard it. They switched it off, and then you heard ding after it went black. So it's like somebody's now. The doors are opening, and they're coming back into work. That's what I took away from the end of it. Like somebody's arriving on the severed
I
floor.
mean, like the first viewing, we were watching it together.
Yes.
And like this is all happening. I'm like sitting like on the edge of my seat watching it. And I can
Like
remember
we
going
kept
like,
building it up to you, and I was so worried that it was going to ruin it for you. But like we watched the episode together, and I'm watching him kind of like, get a.
It was
You're
great.
squirming, and like I've never screamed at the TV. I'm like, fucking look at the picture,
Right.
say something. Like as he was about to shut it off.
I remember you looking at me. I could feel you looking at me during that in that thing, and I'm like smiling, like I can see where this is going. But then when they cut, like when he let go of the switch, he tackled him, he let go of the switch, and that whole thing. She's alive, and then it was just like, I was like, end it, fucking end it, like because it went to black for a second. Like don't come back to
Right.
another scene.
Right.
And then the credits came on. I was like, fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it's
that
so
was
good.
fucking genius the way that ended.
So watch the show if you haven't been watching the show because it's amazing.
Ignore everything we just said and just watch the show and act like you didn't hear that shit.
Right.
Definitely one of the best things on television.
Yeah, she agrees in the chat that they're definitely going to think he meant the baby. But, like, because, and you know why? That maybe that's the tie together I had.
But she knows he's Mark.
Right.
The
But she
sister
can't
knows-
ask him a question now.
She don't have
can't-
to ask him. She
He
can
didn't,
just tell
he
Audi
didn't,
Mark.
he didn't look at the wife. Like, they briefly discussed Gemma. But I'm thinking that the connection of him saying, I found her. I'm the one who found her. And then Mark saying she's alive. I'm thinking that it's just going
I
to...
think you're thinking
telling
too
you.
much about it.
Bro,
I think it's
he
totally.
has her
the picture in his hand.
If I
Why
woke
else
up
would
and
you
my
take that
dead
any
wife,
other way?
I don't
if I
know.
woke
If
up
you
and
were
my
Devin.
dead wife's picture was in my hand and my sister was asking me, why did you just say she's alive?
Right.
The first thing
But
I
what
would
if
do,
the
like, I
sister
say,
didn't
look,
ask that? What if the
she's gonna
sister meant,
ask.
of course she's
Or
alive,
she's
and
gonna
then
ask.
and then he goes, oh, good.
she gonna
You know what I mean? Like
Well, no,
there would
he's
be
gonna-
no
he's-
follow up.
Well, there's
He's
going to be
gonna
a
ask a
follow
bunch
up
of
because
questions.
he's going to wake up in a different
And
fucking
she's
spot
gonna
that he was
definitely
just
tell
standing.
him,
Yeah.
yeah, the Mark was here. He said your boss was here, Miss Cobell.
I'm just
and
not putting it
she-
past him to be fucking with us and like let us think that Audi and everybody's gonna figure that out. I just feel like they're gonna
There's just too
swerve
much
us a little bit
circumstances.
there.
Nah, we gonna-
If he ran in without the picture in his hand and said she's alive, I'd be more inclined
We
to.
getting Rick and
He
full
has the
tactical
I
picture
hope
in
it
his
does.
shit.
By the way, I
He has
want
the
him
picture in his
to.
hand. Like, there's no way that they don't. That
There's
she
too
doesn't
many
take that.
things for the
She's
sister
holding
to
the
talk
baby.
to Audi Mark about.
scene.
for
But
that
she
not to
hadn't
be
seen
going
him
on.
I
since
thought
the
you were
baby
going to
was
come at me
found.
with something better than that.
No, what
Like,
I'm saying
like,
is there's
when
too
you
ma-
said when you were like you said something about she's alive, you were like, wait, I have something for that.
Oh
Even
yeah,
if-
I just
I thought.
But
it was
I'm saying,
better than
even
that.
if it's a mix-up about who they was referring
don't
to
think
when he
that-
says she's alive, it doesn't matter. There's too many questions for the
they-
sister to ask Audi Mark when she starts talking about, he was saying your neighbor, Mrs. Silvic, is your boss, Mrs. Codell,
there's
and
no
why
way
is she
she
here?
doesn't-
The
she
sister
just
is gonna
keeps it all
talk to him.
to
Period.
herself.
I
so-
said, I'm just thinking that the way that the other two characters teed up that I wish she wouldn't have done this on the day of the book reading. I wish she wouldn't have introduced the baby today. I feel like everybody's still thinking about that and the fact that he found the baby. And like, I just feel like somebody's going to take it. The panic was going on
Why?
about the baby being missing.
Why? What to what end? Like,
What do you mean?
Like, what's going to happen after that?
That,
Like, so they're
that-
just going to act
that
like
any
she didn't
mark.
talk to any mark at all?
No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that the specific thing about the wife. The specific thing about the
Just
wife.
don't
I'm
see how
hoping they don't
how
do
it
it,
can
but
be mistaken like that. I just don't. I
Did
mean,
you watch
I
that movie
understand what
yet?
you're saying, but like, I don't want to get into like a huge discussion about it because I just don't see like what the purpose would
because
be.
it's too easy, it's too quick for people to be able to put all those
Like I'm
things
saying, like, there's
together.
got-
If she's able to sit there and she has all these people in the room,
She
she has this
can.
audience,
But she just had the conversation with any mark.
right? I'm saying if she does that, if she starts telling them all this stuff that he just told her, maybe we can get to that. That it would be like, oh, so he must be talking about the thing. But he's, I don't
see,
know.
Like for Devin, there's no mistaking what's happened. She's holding her alive baby in her hand.
Just watch
And
her
he says-
expression because it
yeah,
didn't react the way I thought it would. It
Sure.
was very like, yeah, like it wasn't. I expected her reaction to be like, oh shit, but it wasn't. Like she just kind of was looking down at the baby, kind of thing. Just check it out again. We went through this with the Cobell one. Trust me, there's got to be something to it. I just think they're gonna mess with. Her reaction. Like we went through this whole thing about that, and I think we landed somewhere else from where we either started.
Yeah, I just
So
don't
just check it out again and see if I'm wrong on that. I'd love to be because I want it to have meant that
To me,
everybody
if that's
knows
the case,
both
like,
marks.
if that's the case, that like if what you're saying is true, and they come back like who the baby, like the whole ending of that loses all of its clout.
Right. Because
So then I'm not even gonna go.
yeah,
behind
well,
it.
I'm just
Like that.
talking it could happen.
Yeah, I
The
don't-
innie would know, but the Audi, if the Audi doesn't know, she would have to
Right.
fill
The
him
Audi's
in
going
on
to come back
stuff.
really confused as to why he's standing there, and I think
yeah.
that like the reaction of the sister is going to be like, I mean, like there's no way she doesn't put those two things together. He's holding it. He wasn't holding the picture.
Right.
There's confusion.
Right.
He's holding the picture of his wife.
I hope.
And him. He's
I
holding the marriage picture
I
of his wife.
hope.
I
Yeah.
just don't. I don't.
Oh,
know.
it was the marriage. It was
If
actually
it's
that one.
something completely other than that, like better, like sure, but like just the fact that they.
Oh, I don't want it to be that. It's just I was thinking that everybody was focusing on it.
I'm pretty sure she's holding the baby in her arms.
Why didn't he fucking say Gemma's alive? That's the reason. That's the reason I think it, because he could have said Gemma's alive. My wife is alive.
To leave a
But
leave a little bit of tension there.
Right. But the tension I'm
That-
proposing, they're suggesting is that confusion could happen.
Oh no, they're not gonna do
To
it.
me, like it just doesn't add up. The plot, like all those, like
Listen,
it's
and
too
let- and let's
easy
be
to
clear.
get back to.
And
Like,
also,
no, I'm
let's
talking
be-
about my wife. Like,
No,
he is,
and
like,
also let's
Why
be
would he
like-
say that though? He wouldn't know.
right,
but let's be clear. Hold on. But
he's
look,
holding a picture of his wife.
But Audi doesn't know what just happened.
listen.
He was at his house.
Listen.
You don't want to talk about the show we're talking about?
No, listen.
Okay.
Audi
We'll talk
doesn't,
about it then.
Audi
I mean-
doesn't know what happened, but realistically, he's holding a picture of his wife, and there's no universe in which she says, "Who's alive? What are you talking about?" or any other form of a conversation.
I hope not.
In which he doesn't go to, "Why am I holding this picture of my wife?" We was talking about it, yeah, and then you came in here and said she's alive or whatever the fuck. Whatever the fuck. No matter what the conversation is, it's gonna wind up. He's gonna be looking for his wife there. I said this earlier in the episode, about 45 minutes ago. She will be his motivation to keep going back there. Now, she will.
When you say she, do you mean
The
the
possibility
wife
that his
or
wife
his
is there. Mark is
sister?
still gonna keep going to work. Mark is gonna
Okay, I
keep
thought you
on
were saying
working.
maybe the
I like
sister was
ding
pushing
idea
her.
of it being like the next season opens with them stepping out of the elevator
Right.
and work again. Like
Right.
that's pretty cool.
Or
Oh yeah,
somebody.
they definitely gonna open up with Milchick opening the door like, "Hey, come on, welcome back."
Right, welcome
and they
back.
might not show us who it is first,
Right.
because it might not be Dylan. The suspicion is it might not be Dylan, but it's gonna be somebody that you're not expecting to make.
Wait. Oh, the person that
I don't
opens the
think
door.
Dylan, logically, with the as grievous of a transgression as that was, I don't.
You think
really
he's gone?
I think they would. That would be one of those we have to fire this dude type of
Or
situation.
clean slate him.
Or clean slate. Something. It's got to be something
that
like
would
he.
be brutal because he already knows about his kid.
Right.
You know, so that.
But
like,
they
him
have
being
to,
clean
bro.
slated
He
would
let
be
Helly.
absolutely
He let
brutal.
Helly out at a goddamn function.
If he gets clean slated, it's essentially him severing again. Like it's just the same thing. He's never met any of these people, and now we got to start it all over
And
again.
doesn't even know the job anymore.
Right.
Like that he was really good at.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
that
and
shit
like
crazy.
he said something about him being smart. Like.
Oh, but dude, if they can sever them and pick and choose, they might be able to reverse him a bit and just back him up.
Like a system
Yeah.
restore. Like yeah.
Like, let's go. Yeah, we've been backing you up every day on the elevator ride. We're just gonna put you back to 3 months ago before you started being weird or whatever, or before Helly got here.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't think we're going to get a linear next thing. I hope we do. I hope we get that.
Do you think it comes back like the next season? I don't think it's the type of show where the next season comes back where it's that exact scene.
I would love it if it started
With who
with
are
the
you? Somebody on the
who's
table?
alive.
Audi Mark holding the picture.
Yeah.
I thought
Either
you.
who's alive or yes, of course she is alive. Duh.
No.
You know, whatever.
They got.
But I don't think they're going to do that.
They're gonna
I
start
don't
you
think
off
they're
on the
gonna show
table
us.
or the elevator. It's gonna be on the table or the elevator.
I like the ding. I hope it's going to just come in that way.
I do like that. Yeah.
But they have to follow up on that. We have to see at some point. We need to see the conversation that occurs the second after he becomes Audi Mark again.
I agree. Yeah.
Whatever it is, I want to see that conversation because I feel like somebody's going to intentionally
I
fucking
think he's gonna instantly
misunderstand
start
shit.
telling you
It
what.
might be one of those idiots. But
Yes.
his sister's definitely not going to.
I hope she
misunderstand.
doesn't.
He's-
Yeah.
No way.
He-
It
Mark
might
is-
be like, yeah, okay. So here, I
Because
can
that guy
see-
goes, yeah, I
can
know, because
see-
I found her.
Exactly what I was just going to say. That
might
douchebag
happen,
saying
and
that.
that's gonna
If
piss
that's-
y'all off.
Right. Well, because that's just a.
No, I
dumb
don't
way
want
to
it. I
happen.
just-
There's no way the sister like.
I hope
thinks
she's
that and
not
just
that
like,
dumb.
nah, like what are you talking about? Like just writes off him holding the picture and saying that. There's no way she doesn't put those two
Right.
together.
She's the
And
voice
try-
of
and
reason.
then, and then immediately she's talking to Audi Mark, who has no fucking idea what's going on. So it's going to get really confusing and,
Yes.
and good after that. Yes. So
Yeah.
yes, I would like
No,
to see
Audi
that.
Mark will.
That's
instantly-
going to happen. That fucking douchebag's
Audi-
going to do that.
You know
Audi
it.
And
Mark.
he's going to make you kind of right, and I fucking hate you for it.
Audi Mark is gonna instantly start telling you what happened to Boyd and where he is.
Was that what he was talking about before he got turned on?
Boy.
Boyd from.
They're going to meet. They went through the forever tree.
All of
so they're
this,
in the elevator.
all of this was a long connection
It's a
to.
cinematic universe.
The Lost Cinematic Universe.
Oh, they're all going to go back to the
Since I
island.
watched
Don't get his
TV.
hopes up.
See you later.
I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Oh my god.
I don't even.